Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
This week, in Columbia, Illinois, we take a look at the perfect family in the perfect neighborhood that turns out to be not so perfect when a scene of death and spray paint is found all over the house. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. All you turkeys out there gobbling up to the podcast. I don't know what you'd call it, the podcast trough. We appreciate it. Is that what turkeys eat out of? I don't know. I have my house is. I have tons of turkeys on my property, and I don't know what they do. They just walk around and run for my dogs. I don't know. So
peck your car.
And peck my car and make me go out there and argue with them. There's footage of me arguing with a turkey as it pecks my car. It's incredible. So thank you all for joining us today. We have a wild story for you, as always. This is a pretty crazy story, so we'll get into it rather quickly. But first, you definitely want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby, check that out, because your live shows are coming. That's why you need to be there. September 8th in Atlanta, September 9th, we're in Charlotte. And there is one more, I think. Philly's got a couple tickets left. And then I think it's December 2nd in Dallas as well. We will be there. And those tickets are going quick, too. So get them right now. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, we will be announcing the exact date for your stupid opinions on our next show next week. because we have a date, but we just can't say it yet. So date coming up. And then as well, the tickets for the next virtual live show will be going on sale soon. We'll give you a date for that. It's going to be a Halloween one again. And you know how we did that last time. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We can't wait for that. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all your bonus materials, everything like that. Anybody $5 a month or above, a cup of coffee. Well, either that's it. You can get a cup of coffee, or you can get a couple hundred bonus episodes in the back catalog to binge on, and new ones every other week. My goodness, and this week is no different for Crime and Sports this week, which you'll, of course, have access to. We're going to talk about Karl Malone and why he was so gross. Sir, why are you disgusting? What was your deal with impregnating 8th graders? What's up with that? We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that and everything else. And, why would you then deny the child and tell him to go away? And there's plenty of stuff of why he's a terrible, terrible man. Even something with Kobe's wife in there, too. That's fun.
Oh, hey.
That's fun as well. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about we go through a million murders, and every once in a while you pick some out and you go, oh, that's not good for the show because it's in a city, or it's just not enough info for the show. Every once in a while you come up with something like that, but they're just so crazy you can't just put them aside. And we're going to give you 2 of those cases that are just so crazy we have to talk about them because they're wild. That's patreon.com/crime and sports, and you get a shout out at the end of the show.
You bet.
Jimmy's going to mispronounce your name. He doesn't want to, but he will. No. He's going to try to say it, so give him a chance, and it's going to go. So we'll do all of that. That said, disclaimer time.
Yeah.
It's a comedy show. We're comedians. We're going to make jokes. People are going to die, and it's going to be terrible, obviously. And we're going to make jokes also. See, the thing is, we know how to navigate that. What we do our best to do, we go out of our way not to do, is we never make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why's that, James?
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, but
we're not scumbags, and that's how that goes. So if you think that sounds good and everything's fine like that, we're going to have a good time. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever go together, and how could you make a show like this, maybe we're not for you. Maybe we are. Give a listen. No complaining afterwards, though.
There it is.
Said, I think it's time, everybody, to sit back. What do you say here? Let's all clear the lungs. Who wants to do it? Let's hands to the sky, and let's all shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy. What do you say?
Yeah.
Let's go on a trip here.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to Columbia, Illinois. And we did this episode in Chicago as our live show. And we're going to do it here. And I'm sure, I don't even know if you remember most of this. Probably not. There was we had some stuff flowing that day. It was
we passed joints around.
There was joints. There was several margaritas, I believe, and some beer, and we had a lot going on back there.
7 margarita lunch.
Well, when you ask for a shot of tequila and the venue brings you a bottle, that's you're asking for trouble. You're asking for us not to remember a lot. So that's what's going on here. That said,
sat down and had tacos, and the man gave me 3 free margaritas. I said, this is delicious. Oh, yeah, try this. Oh, yeah, try this.
Great.
What are you doing, Christian?
Jesus, I have to talk in front of people tonight. So this is in southwestern Illinois, like extreme southwestern Illinois. It's a suburb of St. Louis. It's 20 minutes outside of St. Louis. So
in Illinois.
In Illinois, though, because St. Louis is right on the border. It's 4 hours and 35 minutes up to Chicago, and about 3 hours and 45 minutes up to Kankakee, which is the last Illinois episode we did, The Man in the Box. Remember that with all the tubing and the PVC pipe and the air set? That was a crazy episode. If you didn't hear that, go back and listen to that, because wow, was that wild. This is in Monroe County.
Yeah, he buried him.
Buried him and said, you have enough air for this much time, and called his family and said he's got this much time.
Didn't have that at all.
No, that was wild. Area code 618. The motto here, which this sounds like a threat. It doesn't sound like a motto or anything like that, or a slogan. Quote, good for business, good for life. That sounds like a threat from a mobster, doesn't it? That sounds like, hey, listen to me, pal.
You know what it is.
500 every week. Yeah. It's good for business. It's good for life. All right, we'll be back every Friday. Have my money. That's what it is. Your business won't burn down. We won't kill you. That's what that means.
You keep breathing. That's what it is.
Good for business. It's good for life. Okay. History of this town.
Should end with, you know what we mean.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
You get it.
No, it should end with your life. Good for business, good for your legs not being broken. Okay. Moving on.
Good for your kneecaps.
Good for your kneecaps. Good for walking. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Every Friday, have an envelope. It's the history of this town. Incorporated in 1859 as a small farming settlement, but it had been occupied by various Native Americans for 12,000 years. There's been people around here. 12,000. That's a lot. 12,000. Yeah. That's a lot because the Mississippi River, it's off there. Right. So anything by the river, it's fertile, and you're going to end up with people.
We're only 2,000 post zero.
Yeah. This is 12,000. 10,000 before that. Long time.
Wow.
And then a shitload of Germans came in covered wagons from the eastern states here, too. It was known as like this German haven. Everybody come here. It's wild. So reviews of this still, we're lucky nothing happened. We're lucky they we're lucky that they stayed there and were cool. Yeah. Kept it under wraps there. That's good. So let's get some reviews of this town. A few reviews here. People seem to like it here. It seems to be, they seem to work in St. Louis and live in Columbia and like the relative safety of it. Here's 5 stars. I've lived in Columbia for 15 years. Safe, good schools, mostly friendly people, close to South County, best kept secret in the region.
Okay.
They love it. Okay, here's another
15 years.
15. Here's another 5 star. This person doesn't know vocabulary words very well.
Love them.
5 stars. Although I was not raised in Columbia, I consider it my hometown. Well, that's not how that works. That's Nope. Can't do that.
Not it.
It could be the town you live in now and the town you like and, your home, but your hometown's where you're from.
I was born in February. I consider myself a Capricorn.
That's the way it is. Yeah, I consider myself a Capricorn. It's fine.
Consider myself a Cancer.
Yeah, that's how it works.
You can't do that.
I'm more of a Scorpio, though, Jimmy. That's the way it works. So I'm a Scorpio, and it's not your hometown. Yeah, you didn't grow up there. So Columbia is an all-American city where neighbors help neighbors, and everyone is a fiend. That's what their review says.
Yeah.
Yep, I think he's going for friend, but he hit fiend, which might be just as accurate. I don't know. I've never been here. But it is hilarious.
I love it here. Everybody is stealing, scheming, and trying to murder somebody.
Where neighbors help neighbors and everyone is a fiend. The neighbors will help you get some meth for the night. You know what I mean? It's good for you. Everyone helps each other. It's very nice here. Here's a 3 star. This is good here. Okay. 3 or 4 star, I'm sorry. Too safe.
Oh.
Too safe, which is okay. If there was a ton of crime, you'd be complaining about that. Now it's too safe. Okay.
Well, I do like just a little bit. Keep me on my toes.
Just a little. Yeah, I like to get. Otherwise, it keeps the blood flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get plaque building up in your heart. That's how it works.
I like it spicy.
Too safe provides people with a false sense. Is the second line. A false sense, I guess, of security.
Of security, yeah.
Yeah. Provides people. Well, if it is too safe, then it's not false, is it?
No. That's a 100% true sense.
Yeah. But murders happen because we're doing this show here.
Yeah.
Here's 4 stars. I don't know if this is code. I don't know if this is I feel like we need the code breakers of World War II to come in here and tell us what this means. And someone's got a decoder ring. Satisfied needs do not motivate.
Oh.
The eagle lands at midnight.
Is BTK using the review websites to communicate with a serial killer on the outside?
That should absolutely be done with different size newspaper and magazine letters cut out. That fucking thing. I have no idea what you're talking about. Here's a 3-star review. Okay, this is the worst thing I could find about the town here. Okay, 3 stars. I live in an apartment that allows pets, period. Yeah. Every line is its own line. It's written like rap lyrics, like one line and the next, like up and down, not, no paragraphs. I live in an apartment that allows pets. Hard stop on that paragraph and sentence. I got lucky. Next sentence.
Oh.
Then, Concept Realty owns most of the rentals here. Okay. Next sentence. No dogs. All capital letters. No dogs. Next sentence. They overprice also.
Okay.
Next sentence. I am very isolated here. I can tell. This review's a cry for help. It's a cry for help. Someone talk to this person. Where are you?
It feels like a board game.
Yeah.
Where the game is, guess what pet they have?
Yeah. Where are you, current resident? I really would like to help you. This is...
And each sentence is a clue. I think they have a bird, James. I think they have a
little
bird.
clue. Yeah, it's like a hunt-a-killer thing, one of those... Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty goddamn wild. So, there we go. People in this town, 11,090. Okay. Not a ton, not a little tiny bit, but more females than male by a lot. 52% female. Median age is a little bit high, 40.3, but pretty close to the national average. Family in this town is a lot, too. It is 58% married. This is a suburb.
Wow.
You move here when you want a yard for your kids to play in, and you still work in St. Louis. That's who lives here, essentially. Very few people are single with children. Everybody's married with children. Mm-hmm. Race of this town, 95.5% white.
Excessively.
0.6% black.
Wow.
This is 20 minutes from St. Louis. I don't know if anybody's ever been to St. Louis or not.
Yeah.
Now, anecdotally, just going there the few times we've performed, there's a couple of black people there. There's been
a few,
one or two black people in St. Louis. That's 20 minutes away to filter out every single one of them. It seems like on purpose, I'm saying to say. I don't know.
I've seen a Nelly video. I've seen a St. Louis video. There's a shitload. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Just on the Cardinals, there's a couple of black guys. Like, this is more than are in this town. I don't know what's going on here. There's probably more on the Blues even, and that's hockey.
Yeah.
So 1.5% Asian and 1.9% Hispanic. Religion in this town, 65% religious.
Real.
65% religious. 28. The most here are Catholics, which I wouldn't assume, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, 28.4% of the people here are Catholics. Catholics are, as we know, the Baptists of the southern Midwest. I don't know.
At least Illinois.
I'm going to say that. 0.0% Jewish. Here, last election, 31% of the people voted Democrat, 66.7% Republican, 2.3% Independent in the last election. The unemployment rate here is a little bit lower than the national average. Because you have a big city sitting right there. Where there's plenty of jobs. So that helps. The median household income here is higher as well because you move out here when you have a few bucks. $65,286 is the median household income. Cost of living is pretty close to the national average. Median home cost here, $267,600. So lower than the national average by a good amount. So if we've convinced you, damn it.
Yeah.
You have got, you know what? You want all the St. Louis of St. Louis, but without all that St. Louis. We have for you the Columbia, Illinois Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here goes for $950 a month. And
reasonable.
House number one is not a house. It is a 1.2 acre dirt lot with like a little cul-de-sac that comes up to it. And
love that.
There are 23 pictures of a dirt. There's nothing on the lot. There's no trees to take pictures of. Yeah. You take one aerial picture, that's the lot. That's all you need. There's 23 pictures of this fucking dirt lot.
They did it 23 different times, different angles?
From the sky, from below, from down low, from the corner, from that corner, from the side, from the side, but up a little bit. But you gotta see it from
the left.
It's dirt.
When you've seen it from the left, though, make sure you see it from the right.
This is $110,000 for this patch of dirt.
All right.
With, I don't think, anything else to it. House number 2, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,571 square feet.
Oh.
It is built in 1960. It looks like it's the classic ranch house. It definitely looks like the kids in Dazed and Confused were going to have a party here, and then the parents decided to stay, and now they can't do it. That's what it looks like. It's it looks very 70s. $219,900 for that, though. So pretty reasonable. 1,571 square feet. You know, kind of a starter family home.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Not bad. So then we have house number 3, 4-bedroom, 5-bath, T-bowl, each and every B-hole, baby. 5,150 square feet.
Oh, my God.
It's a big joint. 2.56 acres, too. Nice big property. It's built in 2001.
Oh, it's new.
It's weird, man. Bro, this is a weird house. This is the house. It has a weird mural under the stairs.
Oh.
Do you make your children sit there? I don't know. It's under the stairs. Like, there's nothing there. It's a place where you'd maybe store a couple of things. They have, like, a weird tree mural there that, like, a sad kid drew as he was forced to sit there for a few hours.
For timeout.
Because Dad had a couple too many spicy juices. And
yeah. Threw him a paintbrush and said, draw.
That's not great. So there is a bidet in here, which is weird.
Oh, love that.
And then another strange thing, there's a goddamn palm tree growing in the house. Inside the house, there's a small koi pond with like rocky dirt next to it with a 2-story high palm tree that grows all the way up into your second story of your house.
That's going to go somewhere else eventually.
Yeah, this house,
right?
All the shit in there looks like it's from the 80s. It's a very 80s kind of cool house. Like, this would be cool in 87, but it was built in 2001. Makes no sense. $625,000. I don't understand this house.
Fascinating.
It's a fascinating property. You got to look at it. Things to do here.
Oh, tell me.
Well, here's one. The Columbia Walk Trail.
Yeah.
Which sounds like maybe some nice nature. It's not. It's just this street. Literally, if you look it up, it'll show you a picture of a sidewalk kind of in there downtown, and it says Columbia Walk Trail. And it's just, you can walk on our sidewalk. And I looked it up. It's like 2 miles of a sidewalk. That's not a walk trail. It's a sidewalk.
There's it doesn't get naturey?
No, never.
Rocks.
No, you have to pass every block. You have to try to not get hit by a car, as a matter of fact. So that's not a walk trail. That's a
walk trail.
Just walking in the city at that point.
I mean, it's loose, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
I would say. Holy shit. Next up is Festifall.
Oh, yeah.
Festifall. You can tell right away with the wordplay. This is going to be great. Celebrate fall with the entire family. Listen to the music of the Z Band.
Oh.
They're formerly the Smash Band.
Oh.
And they were like, those damn Smash Mouth kids are ruining it all. God damn it. We thought they'd go away 25 years ago, and they just won't. It keeps coming, and it won't stop coming is the problem.
Kids keep screaming, play All-Star.
They keep saying, yeah. They keep saying, come on, you're walking on the sun. Come on. They keep screaming. They're clamoring for it, the kids. They can't help it. So, yeah, they're
ridiculous.
So they had to change it to the Z Band. There's 17 members of this band, and all of them look like they're collecting Social Security. Put it that way. All of them look like they're a few years under their belt. So you can stroll the promenade to find unique merchandise, food, and drinks, including authentic German potato pancakes. They look pretty good.
Is that German?
I don't know. They look crispy and look like crispy. I don't know how you can go wrong with a smashed crispy potato thing. That looks good.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were the first ones that made them flat.
I don't know. Maybe
evidently
they want to take this. You know what? Why is it so round? I know you sliced it sometime, but what if we chop it up and then make a slice out of it? What about that? Fry it. So there's also an upper limits rock climbing wall, inflatable activities, and so much more for the kids in the Kid Zone. Oh, wow. Here. Next event here, the citywide yard sale.
Yuck.
Over 100 households participate. 100 people's houses worth of shit. Normally held in the spring. Okay.
I could never.
That's
it's
so sad.
just a vehicle to get somebody else's bed bugs into your house.
How can I do that quickly? How can I do that? They can be transferred through books. Perfect. I'll take 3 then. I'll take the whole Sesame Street collection. Crime rate in this town. What we're interested in here.
All right.
The crazy stuff here. Property crime's about half the national average. So the reason why people are moving here is with their families is because it's safe. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about 1/3 of the national average. So
incredibly safe.
Very low, very safe. Yeah, it's a place, where you can go and say, well, I'm not scared on my street.
Get in here and be lulled into a false sense.
False sense, man. Too safe. That said, let's talk about a murder. Let's talk about people who are too safe. Let's do it here. Okay. They wish they were too safe. Let's talk about a guy first, huh? Let's talk about a dude.
Right.
Here's Chris Coleman. Introduce you to here. He's born on March 20th, 1977, Chris. And Chris is the son of a preacher.
All right.
Which is always,
Dusty Springfield, was that her name?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And then everybody else sang that too. But
she did a great job. Nobody needed to do it.
Pastor Ron Coleman and his wife Connie. So
Ronnie
there's
C.
that. Yeah. Who else did that song though? No, there was early 60s they did that. I don't know. Not the Supremes or somebody like that, but it was I can't remember.
It was Dusty that did it best, right? It's the most recognizable?
I don't know about that. Didn't like somebody from Motown do that? I feel like that was a Motown song.
I don't.
Because like the version in the Pulp Fiction movie and that soundtrack.
That's Dusty Springfield.
I don't think so.
It is.
Is it?
100%.
It might be. I don't know. I don't think you're right at all.
Sure.
I don't think you're right at all about that. But you might be. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say definitively, but probably wrong. Anyway, but I could very easily be wrong too.
As sure as you are that I'm wrong, I'm that sure that I'm right.
I don't know. Well, now you got to look it up. Pulp Fiction soundtrack. I'm looking it up right now. I'm doing it right now. We'll talk about this, but we're gonna have a hard time because we're gonna both be thinking about it. Is the problem?
I know it's gonna drive me. And what's worse is that as this show progresses and people listen, my tweets are gonna be going bananas.
Yeah, the
or
people are gonna
Threads or Facebook or one way or another. People will be telling me about how wrong I am.
Here's the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. Here it all is. Let's find it out. Nope, not
she
there.
Should be early because it was the early song in the movie.
Yes, her version was in the movie. You're correct.
Dusty?
Absolutely. Right. Yes, you are correct. Yeah. So it was
That's the good one.
I don't know about that.
No?
I don't know if
it might be somebody else?
I don't know if it's the good one.
Oh.
But
it's certainly a good one.
She did a lot. Yeah, she is. Who the fuck else did that? Oh, Aretha Franklin did it. That's right.
Oh, did
Thank
she?
you.
Was it her first then? Probably.
It's probably. She did it in 1970. And Dusty
Springfield
did it.
I think she did it in 64?
69.
69. Okay, so right around the same time.
Right around the same time. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They did a white version and a black version is what they did. Well, it was the 70s. That's what you made. The Wiz. That's what they did.
Yeah.
So that's what they made. So Chris Coleman, the son of a preacher man, as according to Dusty Springfield from Pulp Fiction, as Jimmie has correctly pointed out. And his preacher man wife, Connie, here. The wife of a preacher man. The wife of a preacher man, Connie. So the son and wife of a preacher man here. So Ron and Connie have Chris. And they have... Okay, he has brothers and sisters, and they are just brothers, I'm sorry. Does he have one sister, I think? I think so. So they speak in tongues.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, this isn't a turn the other cheek, love your brother type of church. This is
serious.
This is a get down on the floor and fucking speak to God. Let God speak through you type of shit here. The father taught what was called, quote, clear teaching from the Bible.
Yeah.
Which would be, stone your daughter, don't work on Sundays, or you'll be stoned to death. Don't do this, or you'll be stoned. A lot of stoning to death, I feel like, is what you have to preach there. Like if you're going Old Testament, there's a lot of stonings there. So amid everything here, Chris is known as the quietest and gentlest of the Coleman boys. There's 3 Coleman boys, and he's known as the quietest and gentlest of all of them.
He's a sweet boy.
Known as nice. His mother said the worst curse word she's ever heard him say the whole time was one time he said P-I-S-S.
Oh, he did?
Piss. Not even piss, though. He said P-I-S-S. He spelled piss.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. Saying shit is much less weird than spelling piss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Piss is
It's such a weak word to spell.
Unless somebody peed on you, it's very strange of a thing to say, too. Right?
Yeah.
I never bring piss up unless there's pee involved.
Yeah. And the only time you spell it is when you don't want people to know that you just pissed your pants.
What's that on your leg? P-I-S-S. Is that it if you're in a group of 4-year-olds, maybe, I guess? That would work. But otherwise, I think everyone's going to know what that spells.
I think so,
And once they smell it and put the two together, they're really going to know. So, but that's all he would say in front of his mother, I guess. He's very, conservative in terms of his, he's a
vocabulary.
Not a very, just very churchy. They're very churchy.
Yeah.
So his junior high school coach in basketball, he had the same coach in basketball, baseball, and track.
Really?
So none of those teams were any good because you need some specialization, The basketball coach can't be the baseball coach. That's not how it works.
The special ed teacher or driving teacher or woodshop teacher can absolutely coach.
They can coach. Totally. But one sport.
Not all 3.
You can only know one sport. Sorry. Yeah, the science teacher doesn't teach English also. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that. So this coach said, you couldn't ask for a better kid. He's very kind. He's a team player. I hardly ever even saw him lose his temper. So hardly ever. They said one night, Chris went out with his friends when his parents were out of town. They went out of town for the weekend. His friends on the team talked him into going out and partying a little bit.
Yeah.
And he had a couple of drinks. He never had that before, but they kind of peer pressured him into some drinks. He went home and his parents weren't there and he couldn't get a hold of them, so he couldn't tell his parents, and he needed to confess his guilt. So in the middle of the night, he called his high school basketball coach to tell him, Coach, I got drunk and my parents aren't here, and someone needs to yell at me for this because I feel bad.
My parents are going to be PISS.
Well, PISS, you know how it goes. But no, he called the coach and confessed. Chris also, his mother said, would never go hunting with his father because he did it one time when he was a kid, and she said the first time we butchered a rabbit, he was just beside himself, so he couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Doesn't like the blood and the violence of that at all.
Can't do it.
Even a rabbit, he's not okay with it. So, hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
That's who Chris is. Nice guy. Yeah. If he gets drunk, he calls his coach to confess about it, even though he went home to his house where no one is and he could have slept it off, got away with it, and never thought about it again. He called
kid.
while he's drunk to go, I'm sorry I'm drunk right now. I just threw up all over myself. Son, what's that on your pants? PISS.
My dad just shot a rabbit. We're going to have to butcher it tomorrow.
Oh, God, no, please. So when he's in high school, a Marine recruiter came to high school. Let's call him a Maroon recruiter. So mix those up. He's recruiting for people to be Maroon. Yeah. A Marine recruiter came to high school, and Chris came home saying, man, that's who I'm going to be, is that guy right there. He liked the way he carried himself, and he was like, I'm impressed. Oh, yeah. He signed up as soon as high school ended. He graduated, and boom, next day he was holding his hand up. Marines, got to get in the Marines. So he does. He joins the Marines. He trains with the Canine unit. He's an MP in the Marines. Oh. And he trains with the Canine unit. So he's a Canine MP. is what he's doing in there.
Dragging the dog around.
Yeah, so at least he gets a dog to hang out with. That's fun. Yeah. That's cool.
I mean, that job, though, you're basically a dog trainer, and the dog is the cop.
The dog is kind of the cop. Yeah, the dog does go here. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even really train them. You take them to get trained, and they tell you how to make it do things, and then
they give you a badge and let the dog do the work.
Yeah, they give you a badge, and then we also say that the dog's a person now,
right?
Which is fun.
And the dog's a sworn deputy, and you hurt that dog, and you go to jail for beating up a cop.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Which, I mean, you shouldn't beat up dogs. So there you go.
Never.
Or cops, probably.
I'd rather you beat up the cop than the dog.
Well, the cop can defend himself. He's got a gun and a nightstick, and he can take you to jail. The dog's just a dog. You know, he doesn't know he's a cop.
No.
He doesn't know he's a sworn officer. He didn't know. He had no idea he was swearing to anything. They picked his paw up, and he was like, "Oh, we're shaking." Okay, like he had no fucking clue what was happening there.
He bit a rug coated with some shit. That's all he did.
I like to smell for shit, and then they tell me good boy and give me. Do I have to do paperwork too? This is bullshit. How am I going to do this?
Yeah, I didn't even punch into that.
Yeah, this is fucked up, man. I thought I was off on Saturdays. We're going in. What's happening? He has no say in his shifts or anything else.
Yeah.
So he's in there for a few years, and he's going to end up leaving the Marine Corps. Like once his duty's up. But his father said he was ready for a career in the Marines, but something made him get out of the Marines.
What'd he do?
He said, this is Ron. Ron said, quote, he would have stayed in all his life except that Bill Clinton and Monica and all that was a disappointment.
Oh.
The president got a blowjob, so I can't be in the Marines anymore.
I can't answer to that, man.
I don't know what his deal was.
That's my boss. I want out.
It was a disappointment. I don't know. That's what Ron said. But Ron's also a preacher, so he might have been trying to put a moral thing on it. When also at the same time he'd met a woman too.
Oh,
is another reason. So I think Ron might be putting his own things on to Chris possibly, and be like, yeah, he was real upset about that. He meets a woman named Sherry as well here. Sherry Weiss is her name. And they meet in 1997 at a canine training seminar at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. She is an MP in the Air Force who works in the canine unit. So, yeah, they meet at it couldn't be better. Couldn't be a better meeting.
The streams on the branches of military. Very
both
nice.
In the service, both doing the same thing, both doing the dog thing. So they meet and they hit it off very quickly. They're immediately here now. Sherry, a couple years younger than him. She's, like I said, Sherry Weiss. She went to Largo High School in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's where she's from, the Tampa, St. Petersburg area. She's different, though. She was in the drama club. I don't know how many chicks from the drama club join the Marines on a regular basis, right?
Well,
I remember the chicks from the drama club. They didn't cross over with the ROTC crowd very much. They were more of the...
I knew probably 4 girls in ROTC that were in drama club.
What kind of school did you go to? That is very bizarre. Artsy kids aren't also like, I learned to kill on the weekends. And then I sing Fame on Monday. Like, that's not normal.
I learned Hamlet and cleaned my AR.
It's not that's what I'm saying. Usually those are very opposite people.
Yeah.
So.
And she was all, the group, it was like the rollerblade girls. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, softball girls signed up for the Marines. That's who signed up for the Marines. It was softball girls.
That was the same girls that were in the drama club. Isn't that bizarre?
You had a weird drama club.
Yeah.
You sure they weren't like lighting people? Usually the lighting stage people, they join the Marines sometimes, but not the people memorizing things usually.
You think I know?
That's true. You just saw them all going into they were all in the one section in the yearbook. That's all.
And so Sherry,
So Sherry here, she, in high school and growing up, and still through this day, is best friends with her high school friend, Tara Lintz, Nilintz, Lintz. She graduated a year after Sherry. So Sherry, when he meets Sherry, Sherry's 21. She's in the Air Force. He's 20, she's 21. They're both studying at the Canine Center. 3 months later, old Pastor Ron here, Dad, he said he stood at the window of his house and watched his son pulling up in the car, and he yelled to his wife, Connie, he's got somebody with him.
Oh.
Who's with him here? So who was with him was Sherry. He brought Sherry home unannounced.
He didn't bring the dog, huh? He
brought her. Just Sherry. And he just said she's a friend who lives in Chicago, And he said that he was, giving her a ride, and he was going to run her home to Chicago and then come back.
Real innocent.
And that's what he said. Yeah. And Ron said, we didn't pick up anything,
Dad.
Yeah.
It's a grown man with a girl in the car. Just the two of them?
How many women do you drive 4 hours out of your way who you don't want to have sex with? Because you're such a good pal of theirs. You know what I mean?
I'm hoping this car breaks down in a thunderstorm and we got to cuddle for warmth.
That's some shit that you do, for hope of pussy. That's a pussy hope there. You're like, if I drive her all the way there, she might say it's late. Maybe maybe she'll like me more.
Don't drive back now. It's too late.
It's so late. And the thunderstorm.
Oh, boy.
I'm freezing. Come in. Look at us. We're soaked.
You've got wet clothes on.
We're soaked to the bone here,
Get them off. I'll put them in the dryer.
Come on. Yeah, just wear here. You know what? You're fine. Just
climb in the bed with me.
Yeah, climb in the bed. Let's keep warm under there. We got to snuggle. Now, Ron said, didn't pick up anything, quote, except she was a worldly little girl. Worldly little girl. Little short shorts, tattoo on her leg. Oh, God, not a tattoo on her. Tattoo on her leg, not the person we thought he'd be with.
What does that mean?
Whore. That's what it means. It's the middle of summer, and she came in with shorts on, showing off some kind of tattoo. Clearly a woman who will sell her wares to the highest bidder on a street corner, obviously. She don't speak in tongues, is what that says.
Yeah. Worldly.
Worldly. That means she's had lots of penises in her, is what that means. Worldly.
All of them in the world.
All of them in the world. And a lot in her mouth, too. That's also part of worldly. Ron's like, when I was in the service, I met plenty of worldly girls when I would stop at the ports, and I feel like that's what he's doing now. Worldly. Yeah. So Chris left to drive Sherry home, and he didn't come back. He was supposed to come back that night and never came back.
Oh, just stayed with her, huh?
Where the fuck is Chris? So the next morning, phone rings. Yeah. Pastor Ron picks it up, and Ron says, quote, his first words were, Dad, you'll never believe what we did. We got married.
Last night?
Last night. They went and eloped. Or this morning at some point.
Whatever, yeah.
Ron says, I was quiet. And Chris says, Dad, you don't seem excited. I said, give me a few minutes. That's what Ron said. Give me a few minutes here. I'm not sure if I should be here. That worldly little girl, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm jealous of you for the good tang you're getting or if I want to strangle the life out of you, boy.
Shorts and a leg tattoo. She must be doing wild things to you, huh? So then Ron says that Chris realized right away that the marriage hadn't been godly. It's not godly. They didn't do it in a church. Yeah, Chris realized. Ron said Chris realized right away. He was like, yeah, you're right. Jesus, it wasn't. I didn't include God at all in this scenario.
Did Chris realize it, or did Dad emphasize it hardly into him?
And then he realized, Chris was like, I promised him he could be an usher, and now God's going to be mad at me. So he said, Ron adds, quote, my gosh, he was raised in church. He was repentant and broken over it. And I made sure, because I yelled at him good and made sure to break him good over it and told him.
I quoted a verse or two at him. Yeah.
And I just put the phone down and started preaching. I did a whole sermon for about an hour and a half, and then we spoke in tongues together, and then he said, you're right, Dad. That's how it works.
Do you have anything to say? And I said, yes, sir.
Oh, quote, he said, I just got caught up in the moment, Connie recalls. We said, well, it's a lifetime. Caught up in the moment.
You can't go back now, boy.
Now you're in there. And then Ron adds, quote, and this is the reason why, though. Ron adds, quote, but later we found out she was pregnant.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they got married right away, because she's pregnant.
I did that too.
And that's fine. Yeah, that's a common marriage reason, I feel like.
That's fine. Yeah.
Love, dedication, devotion, pregnant. Those are the top four, probably, I think, right?
I'll tell you, there was no Jesus in my wedding. It was
it not godly,
Landon.
Jimmy? Yeah.
It was a little boy.
It was a fucking 3-month-old. So, 1998, they have their son, named Garrett is his name. So they have a son, and Sherry becomes a stay-at-home mom. She leaves the service as well. Becomes a stay-at-home mom. 2 years later, in 2000, they have another son named Gavin. So Yeah, they have cute little blonde kids, and they play in the yard, and they have a whole nice time. They buy a house, Garrett and Gavin here, at 2854 Robert Drive in Columbia. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,200 square foot house. So,
hell yeah.
Real comfortable, nice family house. Kids got their own bedrooms. They have a nice size yard out there. Right. They like their neighbors. They're a real family type of situation here. Yeah, this is, I mean, when you picture like, middle America, middle-class family, you go, boom, right here.
Yeah.
White house, 2 little kids running around in the yard, playing in the leaves and shit. So one of their neighbors who lives down the street said the Colemans had the perfect life raising their 2 beautiful sons, is what the person said. This person said, quote, I always thought of them as the American family, the perfect family. Everybody would want their children to be like those 2 boys, polite, helpful, heart of gold. Just perfect.
That's weird, right? To know that much about them?
Perfect. Yeah, they're all nosy. I think it's weird to know anything about your fucking neighbors. You know how I am, so.
To have like that, do you have anybody on your street that you think is the perfect American family?
I don't know who they are.
Right. The answer is I don't fucking know.
I don't know who they are. You talk to everybody, do you? You're the one who talks to everybody.
No, I know the guy on my left, the guy across the street, the guy on my right.
And then you fight with the guy on your right.
Yeah, the guy behind me.
The guy behind me.
Fucking worse. The guy on my right fought with the guy on my left, but that guy now moved out. And they used to fight it with each other with me.
I'm pretty sure the guy who lives next door is named John. That's what I got. I'm pretty sure. Like 96% sure his name's John. He wears a Yankee hat sometime, and I wave once in a while. That's my I don't know shit. I think we drop a Christmas card in their thing because they brought us cookies or something once or some shit when we first got it.
Yeah.
That's the extent of it. I don't know shit about it. So these people must be staring out in the yard going, look at them all perfect. Wow. So
people next to me, people across the street, people behind me, none of them good American. They're horrible people.
Oh, no, yeah, they all seem horrible. Yeah, who knows? But these people, everyone looked and went, wow, look at them. Yeah. And when they take their pictures, too, they take these, professional photos, and they're all wearing white, and they look like, it looks like an advertisement for a church is what it looks like. It looks like they would put it on the front of like a pamphlet to come to this church. Like, does your family look like that? Would you like them to? Come to this church. That's what it looks like.
Out with them. Some LL Bean.
Yeah, not even. So 2000s here, Sherry, through all of this, even though Sherry wholeheartedly gets into the church stuff with him, and she's into church too, and she's into everything, he doesn't forcing her or anything like that, but she still remains friends with Tara Lintz, her friend. But she feels bad for Tara, though. Tara's her number 1 MySpace friend at the time, which, if you can remember the MySpace days, your number 1 friend, big deal. So they're interacting a lot and, whatever the hell they're doing on MySpace. So Tara, she said they have to pray for Tara, is what she says. She tells Chris, we have to pray for Tara a lot because she's still single. She's like 24, Jimmy. Jesus Christ. I mean, she's rotting on the vine out there. It's all going to... She's 24. Like, who cares? In Florida, yeah. I mean, come on, 24. She's worked as a hostess at a, quote, gentleman's club.
Hell yeah.
Waitress at the titty bar.
Keeps her clothes on, though, yeah.
Yeah, her shirt's on, but she said waitress there, and currently is working at the Derby Lane Dog Track in St. Petersburg. This is the most Florida woman I've ever heard in my life.
2 houses of Florida sin, though.
Yeah. I feel like that if you grow up in Florida, it's the law. By the time you're 25, you had to have been a waitress at a titty bar and worked at a dog track as well, right? Isn't that the law down there? I feel like.
Yeah. If you bring your resume at 30 years old and those aren't on it, they have some questions.
You're done. Yeah, you're out. They're like, I don't see Derby Lane dog. Did you work at the dog? You never worked at a dog track?
Explain this gap of unemployment. Well, I didn't want to tell you
you were
about...
employed. But not at the dog track.
About the strip club.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about the strip club.
During that time, I was at the dollhouse. Well, why didn't you say so? You're hired.
Jesus, wow. That's obviously you have the experience we're looking for. Her friend said that Sherry only spoke of her friend one time to her because Tara was like her friend, but she wouldn't tell her church friends about her. her quote crazy single friend who's out there just living a life like a maniac.
Sinful gal.
Yeah, she said that she only spoke of her friend once, saying that it was very sad that Tara's life wasn't reconciled with Christ, and that she just prayed for her. That's all she could do.
Is it sad?
Stay close and pray for her.
For God's sake.
She's seen a woman with her titties out, Jimmy. Yes, it's very sad.
Oh my.
Sherry, on the other hand, is very interested in the Destiny Church. That's the church they go to. It's a non-denominational congregation in West St. Louis County. That's where she and Chris and the family go. She organizes trivia night fundraisers, hosts a lot of silent auction parties for the church. You show up with buy a grill for twice as much as it costs and shit like that. Want a $600 grill? Yay. And
$1,200 for it, and you can have it.
Come on. And they said they went out celebrating the holidays. They're so nice, Chris and Sherry. They paid to have a friend's entire kitchen redone. Their friend had a fire in their kitchen, so they just gave them the money to have it totally redone.
$40,000.
Probably 10 back then,
maybe,
if that.
Yeah,
right, 10 grand. So, but still, how many people you handed $10,000 to?
No,
especially if you're middle class people. You have 2 kids at home and all that. You have your own bills, and you're it's not like they were retired and had millions in the bank. We'll throw them a few bucks. So,
fucking insurance.
Other things she's very interested in are SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay. She loves SpongeBob. She loves MASH reruns.
Yeah.
Anybody in the medical industry or the service at all back then like MASH reruns.
Love MASH?
That was the come together, yeah. Okay. And her favorite thing, even in the early 2000s, New Kids on the Block.
Fascinating.
Loved them. Couldn't, yep. That's why she went in the Marines. She heard the song and she's like, I have the right stuff, baby. I'm going in.
Isn't there one Baby Don't Go or some shit like that?
I'm sure. Baby don't do all sorts of shit. Baby don't spit. Baby don't. There's a lot.
Girl something.
Girl, baby, I got to do this. That's the one song I like the best. Girl, baby, I got to do this.
Yeah.
That's one.
The right stuff.
Yeah, all that.
I don't
girl,
know
girl.
anymore.
Girl, baby, baby, I like. That's one of my favorites of theirs.
That a guy sang to another man.
Is a girl, baby, baby. And then the other guy sang it back. That's how they did it. It was good.
Yeah.
So now he ends up, Chris, he's supporting the family here. He uses his Marine security MP experience to land a security job on the outside, which a lot of those guys do that. And he lands a job for a very well-known person, actually, Joyce Meyer. Does everyone know who Joyce Meyer is?
I'm pretty well aware of this one.
Yeah, she's known throughout the country, throughout the world as the St. Louis Post-Dispatch called her a leading voice in the evangelical movement. He said she's extremely successful financially. I've seen figures from $50 million to $100 million a year.
A year?
A year. She makes money. People just send her money. So what's weird, if people send you money without you having to give them a product or your time, that's a great business model.
Oh, that's the greatest.
Yeah, it'd be incredible.
Your garage doesn't have anything but cars in it.
Hand you money. Yeah, just hand you money. This guy said Joyce Meyer does conferences all throughout the world in countries that don't necessarily respond well to women who are preaching a Christian message. So she goes to a Middle Eastern country, to a small group of Christians. They don't necessarily love having her there. And so she wanted some deeper security. She's beefing up her team.
Yeah.
Now, around this time, too, early 2000s, this is the exact time this was going on. Yeah. My stepmother, who, by the way, is the nicest, kindest, Jimmie can vouch for this, the Disney character of a person. She's just...
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. You think she must be full of shit, and it's like, I've known her since I was 4, and I'm still waiting on it. She's not. It's her. So
wait for her to snap into this bitchy attitude.
Yeah, come on now. Turn it. Nope, you're just, God damn it. You're like you're a Disney character.
Even at an illness that you're entitled to be rude, and she refused.
Not at all.
Refused.
Sweet. Nope, just kind, sweet.
I don't want to put anybody out. What are you talking about? Put us out.
Please put us out, for the love of God. I'll say, she did.
I'll do anything.
She didn't want to go to the hospital one time because it would be an inconvenience, and she had a thing that really needed to be fixed right now. She's like, I don't want to. You don't have to go sit there for a week. Like, what are you, crazy? So nice. So she is so nice that years ago, around this time, she had a hard time sleeping and would wake up in the middle of the night, and Joyce Meyer would be on TV begging for money, as she does. Yeah. And she kind of she was dipping her toe in the prosperity gospel fucking waters as far as, if you give me $5, right? Let's say you have $5. You give me $5. Well, I'm going to keep that $5, and then I'm going to get money, but you're going to get $750 back from that. Now, out of that $750, you give me another $5, and then out of that, then you have $250. That'll turn into $10, though, because the Lord will blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, both of us will be making $20 million a year. If you just, this starts from you giving me $5. That's prosperity gospel. It's like multi-level marketing, where they say you can make unlimited amounts. Yes, if you get every person in the country of Bolivia to be in your downline, you can make that money. But if you don't, then you can't.
That's like that send $1 to 7 people, and then
yes, it's exactly what it is.
It's that shit.
It's kind of like shit. That.
Except there's no 7 people. It's just send it to Joyce and then wait.
And then wait for it to come back to you.
Shit back?
Not from Joyce, from the universe it'll come back to you.
Oh my God.
Because you did a good so yeah, that's kind of what she was dipping her toe in. So my stepmother would send her $20 every once in a while, not because she believed in it. She said just because, I don't know, you never know.
It might work.
It might work. And to which I'd look to my father and he'd go, and he'd put his hand up. He'd go, which is Italian guy.
Yeah.
Italian guy for if $20 shuts her up, I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to hear about it.
That's the equivalent of, I'll throw $2 in when the Mega Millions is a billion. Whatever.
Exactly. Whatever. I don't care. I don't argue. I don't pick the small things to argue about. $20 makes her happy. Great. Whatever. That's what it was. And I was like, all right, cool.
If we win, we win.
So Chris here, when he completed a personality profile for the company, for Joyce Meyer's company, he describes himself, because you have to describe a bunch of different characteristics about yourself, as a perfectionist, independent, decisive, moody, stubborn, hard to please, tolerant, crafty, and restless.
So
these are all different things. Yeah. It's just everything. Because perfectionist, independent, those are fun. Decisive, those are good. But it's all your different personality types. Because they're doing it like a profile of where they're going to profile you in a certain way. So you can't just say all perfect things about yourself. When he gets the job, he takes out a $250,000 life insurance policy on himself because he's doing security. Just in case. That's in 2006, and he lists Sherry as the only beneficiary, as you do, as the mother of your children. So he's hired by Joyce Meyer's Ministries all the way back in 2000. At first, his salary was only $41,600 a year, which still isn't bad, and wasn't bad in 2000. But within 3 months, he gets a promotion and over $4,000 of an annual raise, and then he keeps getting promotions from there on. He's known as a model employee when he works his way up to head of security for the ministry.
Wow.
Yeah. He does all sorts of shit. He more than doubled his salary. By November 2008, he was making $100,000 a year.
In 8 years, he got a fucking $60,000 bump?
Because he kept getting better jobs. He kept getting promoted up the line.
That's incredible.
He earned glowing reviews here. Here's one of his reviews. Quote, Chris is a very good manager. He operates in wisdom and intuition. Okay. It's a weird thing to say in an employee. Have you ever got that in an employee evaluation? He operates in wisdom and intuition. Who the fuck says that?
I don't think I've ever operated on either of those.
No. My intuition is to have no wisdom. That's my problem. That's why we're both suck at everything but this.
I act on straight compulsion.
Yeah. Compulsion, a little voice I can't control.
Yeah. Is that intuition? I don't know.
Maybe it is. I don't know. Not sure. Whatever you want to call it. Wisdom is not involved in it, though. I know that much for either of us. He is hardworking, diligent, and very trustworthy. And God has definitely blessed him with wisdom and discernment. Twice wisdom in one review.
Yeah.
Jesus. And Joyce Meyer's, they love his family because his family is very photogenic. So
beautiful.
They love what he's standing there with his kids and his pretty wife and his little blonde kids. And, he's looking all marine-y and shit with his head shaved, looking all tough. And this is, this is what she wants to put forth as strive toward this. And, don't you want to look like this? Joyce Meyer can help you, that sort of thing.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a big deal. He would, in his employee evaluation, he marked every question with the most positive response. He was happy to be there. When asked if there was anything about the job he felt would discourage someone from wanting to work there, he responded, not knowing what the ministry's plans are beyond Dave and Joyce's ability to travel and preach the gospel and the time frame that they plan to continue traveling. In other words, what are the future plans of the company once Joyce and her husband, who are both 70, drop dead?
Is that right?
Is what he's saying. Yeah, what happens once Joyce can't travel the world and preach the gospel and all that shit? Then does this company fall apart? Do we all have jobs? Do you have a succession plan in place? That's what he's talking about. He said, a strong Christian knows that it's all in God's plan and you have to trust him. A person on the outside might wonder why, though, is my only thought. That's a crafty way of saying, I'm still wondering why. He's saying, I'm not questioning you. Yeah. Obviously, God has a plan, but, someone on the outside might ask that question. So how might I answer it, is I think how he's saying it. It's a crafty way
that part out.
of figuring out how to ask that question without looking like an asshole. That's he's a smart guy. He has wisdom and discernment, I think.
Absolutely.
So Chris, they asked him where he saw himself in the next year. He wrote, obviously working here, but then outside the ministry too. I see myself working more and more in my church and continuing to raise my kids in the best way God would have me do.
Oh, yeah.
So he does well. Now, Joyce speaks about and writes about, her whole thing is that she had a lot of problems and tragedies in her life and that, God helped her overcome all these things. She says she was sexually abused as a child. She said after her father came home from World War II, I guess he sexually abused her. He had a lot of mental problems. She had breast cancer. She said her first husband was cheated on her and was abusive to her. And she also said that he persuaded her to steal payroll checks from her employer. So at some point, Joyce got busted for stealing payroll checks from her employer, is what we're getting at here.
And she blamed a man?
She said he did it, and he forced her to because he was abusive, and that she later repaid the money. Could be true. Who knows? Yeah. She does about 15 conferences a year, but they're huge. They're like at a basketball arena. They're gigantic. And she's written more than 80 books. Yeah, 80 books.
Mom reads them.
And hosts a radio and TV show, enjoying everyday life as well. She was, by Time magazine, she was ranked as one of the 25 most influential evangelicals in America as well. Yeah, she's big time. The Reverend Larry Rice, who is an advocate for the homeless and operates the TV station KNLC in St. Louis, was a Meyer supporter up until around this time when he dropped her show up until 2004. He said she had an excessive lifestyle and criticized her biblical teachings as well. Because Myers had a private jet, $20 million corporate headquarters, and $2 million home. Also drew a U.S. Senate investigation in 2007. Don't give her money. I'm sorry. I don't care if you think. She's obviously keeping a bunch of it. So
she's got plenty.
She's got plenty, and she's not giving. This isn't all going where you think it is. And the sad part is people like my stepmom who are nice, people like your mom are trying to be nice, and they think they're trying to help people. And then this lady's got a $20 million corporate fucking headquarters and a jet and a $2 million home.
$2 million
in the middle of nowhere too. So it's probably a fucking mansion.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not like a $2 million apartment on the fucking Upper East Side of Manhattan. Or it's 1,200 square feet. Like, she's probably living quite lavishly.
She's thriving. Yeah.
So there's that.
It, Oklahoma or some shit?
Who knows? Or I think it's somewhere. I think it's in Missouri, her thing here.
Oh.
So November 2008 is when Chris is promoted to be Joyce's personal bodyguard.
Oh, shit.
Personal bodyguard here.
Yeah, so she's got to be in St. Louis if he's her personal bodyguard.
He can just drive to work.
There. Yeah.
He traveled in advance of her to check security at the venues like a Secret Service agent where she's scheduled. He once told his worried mother, because his mother said, I'm worried about you being a bodyguard. What if somebody wants to kill her? And he said that being a bodyguard was just a matter of looking tough. The bald head, being beefed up, never smiling. He said it's all intimidation, 99% of it. You don't have to do anything. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero bread is a good terrific. Step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what's going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So at this point, the kids are doing great. Garrett's playing football. Gavin's playing baseball.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's doing wonderful. You know what I mean? Absolutely couldn't be better here.
Yeah.
Thriving here. Thriving. So now there's some problems for Chris and Sherry, though, that come up. Not necessarily between them. Some stuff will come up between them, but some threats start coming in.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I guess this Chris said it must be because I'm Joyce Meyer's head of security, puts a target on my back. So in November 2008, right when he gets promoted, he starts receiving death threats to his work email.
Oh.
Yeah, and then his neighbor is a detective, so he tells his neighbor about it. And his neighbor said whenever Chris Coleman reported the first death threat that he got from this email account at his work at Joyce Meyer Industries, he came to us at the police department. So he went to the cops right away. The email here read, and I quote, the subject line is important. Some people just leave it blank.
That's
important.
crazy. You got to grab them.
You got to grab their attention. Here's
the reader.
a chance to do it. And this will grab your attention. Quote, Chris's family, they are dead, with 3 exclamation points. I think that'll get your attention.
That's
right?
in the subject.
That's the subject matter. Yeah,
wow.
Just subject. He says, quote, I'm sure this will make it to someone in the company. All right, that's important. If you jackasses are like any other company, this will be in someone's account. Pass this on to Chris. Because I'm going to kill him and his family, obviously.
Yeah,
so
right.
if I'm going to kill them, they're the ones you want to tell about it. Tell you, won't help otherwise.
Maybe let him know.
So tell Joyce to stop preaching the bullshit, or Chris's family will die. If I can't get to Joyce, then I will get to someone close to her. And if I can't get to him, then I will kill his wife and kids. Okay? I know Joyce's schedule, so then I know Chris's schedule. If Joyce doesn't quit preaching this bullshit, then they will die soon. During the Houston conference, I will kill them as they sleep. If I don't hit there, then I will kill them during the book tour or the trip to India. I know where he lives, and I know when they are alone. They will all die soon. Tell that motherfucker next time to let me talk to Joyce. She needs to hear what I have to say, and now she will.
Okay, so misleading headline.
Chris's family Chris's family. They are dead. Yeah, well, you want to grab my family's dead. Oh, phew, good, they're not dead. That's God. That's like when the spam calls. They call you and go, you don't have any warranty on your car. And what happened? Oh yeah, no, this is a scam. That's right. Never mind. So the email account that it's sent from is this is great. destroychris@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Right which is just hilarious. Yeah, right on the nose. What do I want to do? Destroy Chris. Okay, well, sometimes shit writes itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it came from there, and they were like, okay, it came to his email at his Joyce Meyer Ministries account. So what will the cops do about this? I mean, this is some serious threats, right?
What can you do?
What can you do? Well, his friend said, quote, we give the Coleman family extra patrol, which we just patrol around the area a lot more than we normally would during a shift, and give it special attention to make sure nobody's there. So if we're driving by and we hear a woman and 2 children screaming for their lives, we'll stop. We'll stop.
Whoever's in that area, anything on the opposite side of that area is fair game to break laws.
Oh, do whatever you got to do.
We'll be over here.
Take a look-see at Chris's house, though, and make sure no one's currently being murdered. Okay.
We're going to have cops just sit out there.
Why not?
And make everything else be vulnerable.
So then January 2009, a hand-delivered threat shows up in the Coleman family mailbox.
Oh.
It's not mailed. It's no postage on it or anything.
No email.
Somebody came there and dropped it in the box, which means they know exactly where he lives.
They know where he lives, yeah.
This starts out like this. The title here is, quote, fuck you.
Oh,
which is,
all right.
That's, again, attention. This guy knows, whoever this is, knows how to grab attention. Your family's dead. Fuck you. These are attention grabbers. Yeah. He says, deny your God publicly or else. Or else. No more opportunities. The time is running out for you and your family. Have a good time in India, motherfucker. Which sounds like he got pally with him at the end there. I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. But I know you have that trip coming up. Have a good time, motherfucker.
Have a good time in India.
Motherfucker. Motherfucker's all capitalized, by the way.
Oh yeah,
and an exclamation because
So you're not going to kill them in India? You're going to let us go?
Well, maybe while Chris is there, maybe we'll kill the kids and family here.
Kill her here.
Then they were talking about the kids and family going to India with him as well as like a trip so they could see another area, another country, different culture, and all that kind of shit.
Elephant,
so, So they asked a neighbor, does it concern you as a neighbor living so closely that you heard there was death threats being made to the guy across the street? The guy said, absolutely it did. I was terrified. Someone could say third house on the right and mean left. I could be fucking dead. You come in from the south end of the neighborhood, I'm on the right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, these two here, the ones on either side of me, the one across the street, the one behind me, they should all be terrified if somebody hates me.
Everyone's scared.
You guys are vulnerable too.
You're all vulnerable.
They missed the address.
All those houses look the same. You're vulnerable.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So April 27th, 2009, another note arrives.
Oh.
Another note, this time, again, an ultimatum here.
In the mailbox?
No, this is in, another note in the mailbox. Quote, I am giving you the last warning.
Okay.
This is the final countdown. The last warning. Countdown, gonna kill your entire family. Gonna kill them. Gonna kill your wife and kids. Your kids, if you don't renounce God publicly. It's the final. Okay.
Yeah.
You have not listened to me, and you have not changed your ways. You son of a bitch. That's mine. I'm throwing in there for him.
What's this whole ways?
I have warned you to stop traveling and to stop carrying on with this fake religious life of stealing people's money. That's always good advice, but I don't feel like I feel like Chris is into this. You know what I'm saying? You think you are. I think maybe it could be Joyce. It could be full of shit, but I don't think Chris is. You know?
Yeah.
You think you're so special to do what you do, protecting, or think you are protecting her.
So special.
She is a bitch and not worth doing it.
Joyce,
huge bitch, not worth doing it. Stop today, or else. He doesn't ever mention Joyce, but I assume it's Joyce and not his own wife. He's not saying, my wife's a bitch. So I know your schedule. You can't hide from me ever. I'm always watching. Well, he's dropped off two notes in the mailbox.
Yeah.
Seems like they are.
That's so scary.
That's terrifying. I know when you leave in the morning, and I know when you stay home. I saw you leave this morning. I will be watching. I know when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to rhyme.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this Santa Claus? Is Santa Claus pissed? Who pissed off Santa Claus?
Santa Claus forgot his own poetry.
I will be watching. You better stop traveling and doing what you are doing. They're now all capitals from now on. This is my last warning. Your worst nightmare is about to happen. It's about to happen. So this is what's going on here. You think you're so special. Yeah.
So special.
So a neighbor of his decided to get more security because he's terrified, the guy across the street.
Fuck yeah.
He said, we got one camera mounted up in one of the rooms that points right out at the mailbox. To see
inside pointing outside.
Their house.
Genius.
Yeah, pointing so they could get to the Coleman's mailbox and maybe catch the psychopath from doing this shit.
And that guy won't know that there's a camera out there because it's inside.
It's inside. It won't scare him away. It's about 214 feet away also. So
that's very specific.
I say that's what they said in the police report. About. Could be 215, could be 213. We're going about 214.
Okay.
They hope to get a clear shot of whoever's leaving the notes, obviously, and they said they wanted to be proactive and, in case anybody came to their house, too. Sherry's worried, though. Sherry told her friends and, the cops, because they had called the cops about this, that she had to close her Facebook account because she received threats, possibly related to death threats that she received. They said Sherry also reported to friends that there were unauthorized changes to her Facebook account without her knowledge, like someone was hacking her account. So she just shut it all down.
Yeah.
Done. Shut it all down. So April 28th, 2009, this is the day after death threats come in and they're going to kill your family. It's the last warning. Chris is having a good old time, having a nice throw and catch with Kurt Warner, the quarterback of the Cardinals, fucking Rams, Giants, whoever else he threw wounded duck passes for.
He was throwing that sidearm there in St. Louis at the time, right?
At the time. Well, now he's in Arizona for 2009, but he's from St. Louis originally. That's where the Rams were, so that's where he was at the time. And he's throwing them around, which he hangs out. Kurt hangs out at Joyce Meyer Ministries all the time. She's buddies. So, if you're her right-hand man, you get to play ball with Kurt here. So he's doing that. And also, in Chris's phone, he has Joel Osteen's cell phone number.
Of course.
So, wow. Through 2009 now, beginning of 2009 comes around. He's got the job as head of security. He starts growing his hair out a little bit. Starts growing hair because he had shaved himself totally bald. I thought he was just bald, and he has hair. He's just shaving it to look tough for the job.
Really?
Yeah, which is, I think, an insult to bald men everywhere.
Truly.
As George Costanza would say.
Motherfucker.
That was the George Costanza thing. He's like, he shaves it on purpose? What? No. No, he was very upset.
Yeah.
So around May 2nd-ish, this is a Saturday, he goes to a Vida Pure Nature Salon in Colombia for a trim.
Oh, for his hair.
For his hair, yeah. Not going to a barber. He's not a barbershop guy. He's more of a salon
Vida
guy.
Pure.
Yeah. Vida Pure.
Avita.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Sherry joins him after she got her passport picture taken somewhere.
At the
So
Walgreens?
yeah, I'm sure it was. I say at the Rite Aid or whatever. So the boys were camping with their friends, with friends of the family, Gavin and Garrett. So the Colemans were going on a date night that night. The hairstylist was saying, they were so excited about it. She said, and they were both really excited about it. We stood in the window and watched them leave and said, oh my gosh, they're so cute, as they went to dinner. So everybody loves this. So it's funny. He said that people started noticing his hair. One of the neighbors said, what's up with your hair, dude? What's going on with that? And he was like, what, you don't like it?
Yeah.
And they said, no, it's fine. But this particular night of the date night, they're hanging out with neighbors. This neighbor who called them the perfect family, and I wish my family was like that. My kids are pieces of shit, and theirs are nice, and all that sort of thing.
His wife's so much hotter than mine.
Yeah, his wife's hotter with that leg tattoo.
Yeah. Ass falling out of her shorts.
Man,
Jeez.
look at that. This neighbor said that Chris started to drink more heavily than she'd ever seen.
Oh.
Usually he stopped at 1 or 2 beers, just social, with dinner or whatever. Yeah. But that night he pulled out a big bottle of hard liquor, saying that he'd, gotten it recently and he's going to try it out. This particular
Tying it on tonight. Yeah.
Tying it on. Sherry, the neighbor said, was quiet, and she was also drinking more than usual. So they're both tying one on. I guess she asked for another Corona, asked Chris for another Corona. I don't know if he was closer to the fridge or what. Yeah. Chris snapped, quote, "Get off your ass and get it yourself, you lazy bitch." Which is, I guarantee you, not what everyone expected me to say. Right there.
He didn't say, "Yes, dear, anything for you, my love."
Yeah, anything? Anybody else need anything? He said, get off your ass and get it yourself, you lazy bitch. That's what he chose to say. Doesn't go over well.
That's a conversation starter.
Yeah, and the neighbors are like, well, start looking at their watches. What time is it? Well, we got to get up real early in the morning, don't we?
So much for the perfect family.
Wow.
Shit.
They said in 5 years, the neighbor had never heard him talk to her like that, never seen them get drunk like this. It was a totally, totally weird thing. And she said this neighbor said her fiance nudged her like, let's get going now. And both uncomfortable, they said, well, we're going to get going now. It's getting late. And they both took off. Exactly what I said. So May 5th comes along now. May 5th. And Chris gets up, goes to a gym, gets the workout going, leaves his house about 5:45 p.m. or a.m., morning. He makes his first call to Sherry at 5:43 when he's pulling away from the home. So we know exactly, he says, when he left. He said he's calling to wake her up when he left. Like, hey, she was still asleep in there. He called her to wake her up. Later on, they're like, well, why didn't you just nudge her when you were in there? He's like, I don't know. I felt like calling her, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, let her sleep.
So he texted home. She didn't answer on 5:43. She's like, man, the phone didn't wake her up. So he texted while he did his cardio. He said, are you awake? I know you, quote, I know you was tired last night.
Yeah, he was.
He was. I have about 5 minutes left on cardio, then I'll be home. And then again, he texted, hello, you up? And then another one, time to get the kids up. And so he said he, was there about another 20 minutes, I guess, after the 5 minutes was over. So then he starts driving home, and when he's 5 minutes from his house, he calls his neighbor, who is a Detective Barlow, we've talked about before here.
6-something in the morning.
Yeah, 6-something in the morning. He's 5 minutes from home.
Right.
So he calls his neighbor. Then, according to AT&T, who is a cell phone provider, he drove past the exit for his house and was went way north, and then made another call, and then turned around and came home. So he was gone for another while. Like, he left, drove all the way up, and turned around and made a phone call and came back. And he said that, he was asking his neighbor to check in on him, but which is weird. He said, detective, can you check on my wife? She won't wake up. Can you go check on her?
Yeah.
And so then he doesn't go right home, even though he's insanely worried about his wife, that he needs a police officer to check on her. He could have been home in 5 minutes and checking on her. So,
but this is a neighbor. This is a neighbor detective.
A neighbor,
he's never talked to.
Yeah, no, he knows the neighbor. It's his neighbors.
Okay.
That's why he has his phone number. He doesn't call the cops and they give him. Oh, we'll put your neighbor on. He calls his neighbor and was
have
like,
you called your neighbor yet?
Yeah, have you called your neighbor? That's the usual procedure. You call a neighbor, and then he calls the pastor, and then the pastor calls the cops. That's our usual procedure around these parts. So no, he calls the neighbor. The neighbor says, okay, if he's going to do a welfare check, though, he gets officers in there and does it the right way. He's not going to just stroll over there and do a casual welfare check. So here's from the police report. This is Detective Justin Barlow, the neighbor. Quote, after searching the first level of the house and finding no one, we went upstairs to the second story. As I walked up the stairs, I looked to my left and saw a white female lying on her stomach.
Uh-oh.
She was naked, lying face down.
Oh, no.
He said, I yelled, Columbia Police, and she didn't move. And so I called for an ambulance, obviously. So the officer then at that point, after he called for the ambulance, he jumps in and tries to figure out if she's alive, if she's unconscious.
Yeah.
He's going to try to roll her over and feel her pulse. And when he grabs her, he noticed that she's already in rigor. She's already stiff. She's already stiff, which occurs within 2 to 3 hours usually. So he said, I attempted to roll her over in order to see her eyes and check for breathing. I noticed when I lifted her shoulder, her head and neck moved also. It appeared rigor mortis had set in. I noticed the skin of her chest and head appeared purple.
Oh, no.
And he said it felt thick, he said, quote, like a dinosaur's skin, which I don't know how you would know what a dinosaur's skin feels like, but what you assume. So she's naked.
Yeah, he's never seen a dinosaur.
I don't think he's ever probably felt the skin. Whoa, that dinosaur skin's weird, ain't it? So
but all that color is from the blood settling on that side,
yeah,
right?
It's lividity from laying there, and it settles the purple on that side totally. So good call. So he said he didn't find a pulse at all, and he said she appeared locked and all that.
She's gone.
Yeah, she's in rigor, for Christ's sake. You're not bringing her back. So he had shouted, about that to the other officer. Then the other officer shouts back, quote, there were a total of 3 victims.
Oh, God damn it.
In other words, I just found 2 more, is what he just said. So Barlow writes in his report that he walked to the rear of an upstairs bedroom and, quote, saw a younger boy lying on his bed. This is terrible. He said, I checked for a pulse on the younger boy, but found none. I also noticed his face appeared slightly purple. So as they're doing this, noticing the kid's purple face, they hear Christopher Coleman yelling from the living room, from downstairs. He's yelling, what's going on? What's going on? So the officer walked downstairs, takes Chris out of the house, obviously. Well, he can't be in there. Sits him down and tells him everybody in there's dead. He said,
you can't be in there.
He told him, quote, I told him, hey, they didn't make it, being the family, which is a terrible way to learn about it. They didn't make it.
Yeah.
Make it through what? Surgery? What are we talking about here? It's my house. They didn't make it through the night? What are we saying?
They didn't make it back yet? What are we talking about?
So the detective said Chris sat down in the driveway and started sobbing. Said he felt like he was going to throw up and then kind of curled up in the fetal position. Okay. So the neighbor had been his neighbor for 5 years, and he said this was the first time that Chris ever called him when he couldn't reach his wife.
Oh.
He'd never said, hey, can you go check my house for any reason? Hey, there's a...
Oh, is that right?
Even can you go pick up a package on my door? Nothing. He's never called this neighbor for that before, ever.
Make sure porch pirates don't get my fucking water bottle that I just ordered.
I just ordered a new chainsaw and,
get some shit. Flasks are expensive.
You know what I'm saying? So they said that the crime scene wasn't bloody, but that didn't mean it was any less gruesome, is what they said, which is absolutely true. She's found, like we said, naked down in bed. She's in rigor. The autopsy shows that she fought violently with her killer, leaving her with 2 black eyes as well.
Oh, she a punch.
She fought which I mean, she's a fucking Air Force MP. She's not a, you know.
Yeah, that's a tough chick.
She's not a weak, you know, oh, God, don't touch me. She's going to be like, I'll punch you back, motherfucker. I know how to punch. So she's fine.
She's got her ass out and short shorts. And the dogs are listening.
And she knows what's up. Sherry, they said Sherry was involved in an altercation before she was murdered. The two boys weren't. Everybody was strangled to death.
Oh, my God.
Deep ligature, like from a rope around their necks, strangled them. That's how they died. All of them, all three. So,
damn it.
If it gets a little weirder, if it couldn't get any grosser, it definitely gets weirder. Police investigating the murders found messages spray painted all over the walls of the home inside.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah. They all over the place. They said that also they found in the Garrett, who's 11 here, was covered in a white sheet with a red circle of spray paint. And there was paint on his hand and arm as well. It got on him. They said that they go into Gavin's room and they found him lying on his face near the wall with a spray-painted expletive on his sheets.
On the sheets?
On the sheets. Of a young child here.
Fuck you.
We don't know that because we don't have the crime scene pictures, and I'm very happy we don't, as a matter of fact, here. And so is everyone at the Chicago Live Show. Was thrilled that they didn't have to see pictures of dead children. All three had purplish-colored marks on their bodies, were for lividity as well. This is fucking terrible. They said that this generally takes an hour to develop and doesn't get fully developed for 8 hours. They said Gavin appeared to have a clump of his mother's hair in the crook of his arm as well. So at one point they were together or something.
Yeah.
She was trying to protect him. Maybe he was ripped away from her.
And he's got a hold of it?
Yeah, in her crook of his arm. So, it's like in there. So they said it might have been possibly from the same cord used to strangle his mother. That's what might have happened. It might have transferred that way. They also, these messages were fucking crazy. One says, you have paid. They say, I saw you leave. Fuck you, I'm always watching. One says, wow. I saw you leave. Fuck you, I'm always watching. One says, the one on the dining room wall says, punished. You've been punished. Punished. The one that says you have paid, they couldn't tell if it said whore paid or you have paid, but it looks more like you have paid to me.
Okay.
You have paid. Whore, I saw you, fuck you. I saw you leave, fuck you, I'm always watching. You've been punished. And other weird shit just written on the walls all around.
Spray painted.
Spray painted in red spray paint as well. So they said that they went to Waterloo Rural King, which is a store here. It sounds like it sells like water beds in the middle of nowhere or something.
Rural King?
Rural King, the king of the rural area. Yeah. They said that they came into the store inquiring about red spray paint right away. They said they asked us about a lot of numbers, brands we carried, and how much we sold over a certain period. They confirmed they visited several stores in the area related to the investigation, but they wouldn't obviously talk about it right away. And they said that all three victims were strangled with a ligature, some kind of wire, rope, or cord. Okay. Jesus Christ. They said, according to Dr. Raj Nanduri, the autopsy was conducted and said the best guess of time of death was between 3 and 5 a.m.
Oh.
She based that based on the rate at which bodies cooled and other factors like room temperature, number of people in the room, all those things. So they said that all three died from ligature strangulation, like I said, and between 3 and 5.
So when he took off for the gym.
Well before. He didn't take off till 5:40. He wasn't in the driveway till 5:43.
Back home.
He wasn't leaving the driveway till 5:43, and these happened between 3 and 5.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, that's what the doctor's saying.
That's not good at all.
That's not good. People in this neighborhood freak the motherfuck out, as you can imagine.
How do you
with the
Two
spray paint
and
the spray. I mean, they're like, oh my God, this is like some satanic cult or a crazy serial killer or some shit. So the murders were then linked to the threats to Joyce Meyer Industries. So they said at this point, the cops could be on a global search for suspects.
Wow.
Yeah. The major here involved in this, the police officer, said there was a lot of fear that there was somebody out there killing families and who was going to be next.
So real Carmen San Diego.
That's what it is. You never know. Is it Reykjavik? Yeah. Who knows? Maybe. So the town, like I said, real shaken here. One person here, Nick Pister, Pissed her.
Oh, boy.
Pissed her, barely knew her.
P-I-S-S?
P-I-S-T-O-R. Pissed her.
Oh, all right.
He said, this touched an entire community. The neighbors were shocked. They saw the young boys playing touch football with their father in the front lawn. These are little boys that everyone knows. Their close friend of Sherry's named Kathy said, you could just see the pain on everyone's face. It devastated the community. Sherry was a loving mother, loyal friend, and sister to me. My life's not the same. It put a hole in my heart.
Yeah.
Now, Sherry's family, too. By the way, Sherry's family, extremely, excessively like my family level of Italian. They're really, her brother's name is Mario DiCiccio.
Hell yeah.
So that's her brother's name. She's got another brother named Enzo, I want to say. Her mother's got a big, long Italian name. Her mother's name is Angela, which is my mother's name, too. So there you go. It's all Italian. So the brother said this, quote, if we would have known for 1 millisecond she was in danger, if I would have known for 1 millisecond she was in danger, I'd have been down there. I don't doubt that. Why didn't they tell me? I'd have sat outside for these motherfuckers. What are you talking about? You want to mess with my sister? Oh! He would have gone crazy.
Millisecond.
1 millisecond she was in danger. I'd come down and protect my sister right now. Right now. So Angela, the mother, said it was impossible to accept the reality of what's happened. Angela said she grew up to be a beautiful person on the outside as well as on the inside. They were her world, those boys. They were her whole world. She said Garrett was quiet, more of like a thinker. He was the one you could tell by looking in his eyes that he was always thinking. And Gavin was very outgoing. He was more like a social butterfly. His personality is just like his mom's, just like his mother's, they said. So sure. The detective said with Sherry, Garrett, and Gavin, I mean, that's what the motivation was for everybody. They killed an innocent woman and 2 kids. Somebody's got to fucking go down for this. So let's do an investigation, shall we?
Let's do that.
All right. Columbia detective here said that police found a latex glove stained with what appeared to be red spray paint on it along the median on the Illinois side of the Jefferson Barracks Bridge by members of the major case squad. Holy shit. That's fanning out.
Find. Yeah.
Right? They found a glove. It was collected as evidence, and obviously because it's got red spray paint on it. So they were looking for anything with red spray paint on it in the whole county. So threats as well. They're doing their best to pursue these leads on the threats. They said that's obviously our top lead.
That's all we got.
Guy saying, going to kill your wife and family. Wife and family's dead. So they get a search warrant here based on all this, and they find out that that Chris Coleman, by the way, had a Facebook fan club. They found out.
What?
Because he's the guy always standing next to Joyce. So some of the viewers have said, the guy always next to Joyce, the guy, we love him. So, yeah, he had his own little fan club.
Bailiff on fucking Night Court or whatever.
Yeah, like he's like Bull, if Bull was a...
Yeah, all right.
So a staffer for Joyce Myers Industries told an investigator that Facebook group account titled something to the effect of fans of Joyce Myers Bodyguard. They didn't even know his name. It was available until it was removed after the slaying because they didn't want any
fans of him,
of that guy. Yeah. They looked into that and they said on September 19th they had a record on there from a Natalie Johnson, who's apparently one of the fans, asking about Coleman. And it was, does anyone know Chris's email address? I'd like to send him a note. So they're like, okay, that's good. Let's start there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
let's do that.
There's somebody talking about emailing.
Yeah. So an employee of Joyce Meyer Ministries said that they provided the police a list of names as well as photos of people that have threatened Coleman and other Joyce Meyer Industries employees or ministries. It's industries. What am I talking about? Yeah. Who Coleman stated he believed could be responsible for the threats. So they're looking into this, and they also have to talk to Chris, obviously. This is all the day of. They're doing all this. I mean, this happens.
Really?
Immediately. It's first 48. We got to find it now. Yeah. And where do we go? Well, they threatened him. Let's do that. That's where they go. Yeah. They have to talk to Chris later on that day, and they bring him in and sit him down. It's in one of the interrogation rooms. They talk to everybody in there, and they said, "How you doing?" And he said, "Freezing." And they said it wasn't really cold in there, but he said he was freezing. He had a short sleeve shirt and some shorts on, but still wasn't cold. They said, "Well, anything I can get for you? You're freezing." And he said that, I love a blanket. You know what I mean? Okay, so
no coffee.
The cop says you can see on the video where he's asking for a blanket because he said he's cold, and the only part of his body that he covers up are his arms. And they hand him a blanket, and he says, that'll work, won't it? And Chris says, yeah, that's fine. As long as I can cover my arms, I'm freezing.
Oh.
And he covers his arms. And so they ask him a few questions about, bullshit. They rapport building. You were in the service, right? What branch? Okay, yeah, me too. My dad was in the Marines, all that shit. My brother's currently serving. Chris gives them...
right?
Oh, total, 100%. Yeah, get your account going. Chris gives details of everything. He's speaking. They said he was kind of passive for a guy who was a Marine whose job was protecting people's lives. He seemed pretty passive and pretty... Really? And he does. He seems really... You can see it. It's on YouTube, his interrogation or whatever you want to call it. And he's just kind of passive and whatever. So they ask about the morning. He says he got up at 5:30, went to the bathroom, got dressed, and left. He said as he drove away, he called Sherry to wake her up to get her going, and she didn't answer, of course, was her exact quote. Then he says, so I went to the gym. I called her again on the way back, and she didn't respond, and that's when I called you. So he says, he said he was home. They said, what happened the day before? He goes, we were home, ran a couple errands, picked up the kids from school, played catch with Garrett, and waited on Sherry to get home. She got off work at 4, and then she actually made dinner, pasta and chicken, and she cut up some kind of pizza and mixed it all together. It's a very weird meal, but...
Cut up pizza?
I never heard of cutting up pizza and put it in... Whatever. I mean, maybe it's good. The Midwest, they'll make a casserole out of anything over there.
Yeah.
They really will.
We'll bake some shit together.
Put it all together and bake it. Yeah. Put some cheese on it to bind it, and then it's great.
Put it $3.75.
And he said that, quote, it's pretty good, actually. He was laughing. He goes, pretty good. He said after dinner, they all walked up to the snow cone stand. That sounds very little nice small towny. And Chris played catch with Gavin then after that. He said, I went to Zach's gym, and I came back and helped put the kids to bed. And then Sherry put a steroid cream on his poison ivy, and Chris listened to Garrett say his prayers. He says, and then he and Sherry watched TV. They watched most of the movie Batman Returns.
Oh,
that's
what year?
They're watching it in 2008, but this is the 1992 Batman Returns. It's the second one with Danny DeVito and Michael Keaton and all that shit.
And
so
Michelle Pfeiffer,
Catwoman there. So he said they watched Batman Returns, and then, quote, she fell asleep in my arms on the couch. So it's at this point where they can see his arms a little bit, and they start asking him, hey, what's with the scratches and red marks on your arms? What's that all about?
Oh.
And he says, I think it was when I was the gurney in the ambulance. I think I was hitting the pillow. Hitting the pillow, and you scratched your arms on a gurney?
You got marks on it?
That's weird. They ask him about his job, and he speaks pridefully. He says, she's on TV in 37 languages in 3/4 of the world, you know.
Oh, Joyce?
Great. That's good. We're worried about your dead wife right now. Kids,
let me tell you about
people like that.
Boss.
Yeah. He tells him about, let me tell you how great she is. Boy, that Joyce. He also tells him about the security surveillance company that he's just started, Executive Innovations, but he doesn't mention that he has his own security camera, which is downstairs pointed at the basement door. So he's trying to talk to the cops, and they said, we've tracked down people across the country who didn't like Joyce Meyer. We interviewed them to find out where they were on May 4th and May 5th, and they said, maybe you can point us in the right direction. So they said to Chris, who do you suspect?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a security guy. He said,
you got to know.
Out of all these emails and things you've been talking at work, and there's got to be one person that stands out in your mind.
At least one.
Chris says, I don't have a clue.
Oh.
I should have been there this morning. I should have been there.
The worst security guard ever.
Joyce is safe, but not my kids. So then they notice that he has not asked one very specific question. It's been over an hour. You notice one question I haven't mentioned that you might want to know if you didn't get to get in the house and see what happened?
How are they?
How did they die?
Oh, yeah, that too.
What happened to them? He never asks, how are they dead? Just they're dead. I guess they're dead. Doesn't say, were they shot? Were they stabbed? Were they strangled? Fucking beaten?
Oh, yeah, because he's heard they didn't make it.
That's all he's heard. They didn't make it.
How did they not make it?
And now he's here. So he says, I have no idea. They ask him, how do you think they died?
Yeah.
And he says, I have no idea. You guys haven't told me.
Oh, let's play this game?
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, you should. That's telling him you should have asked already.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, do you have any clues? And he just went, I don't know.
Not really.
The transcript says mumbles. That's literally what the transcript says. Mumbles.
Actually mumbled.
So they asked if there's any DNA at the scene that could implicate him. And the detective said, that's what Chris said. Why, is there DNA saying I did something? And they said, I'll just say there wasn't any DNA found that didn't belong there. No boogeyman, no unidentified DNA, nothing like that. Uh-huh. Yeah, they didn't find anything like that. He never had asked, still doesn't know how they died. So later on, the detective who's his neighbor said just the lack of reaction. I mean, the lack of curiosity of what's going on, of what the fuck that any human being would ask here. Other things here, they found a basement window open when all the other windows unlocked in the basement.
Oh.
Meanwhile, he's got death threats coming from everywhere from a man who knows where he lives, who has dropped off 2 fucking messages at his house threatening to kill his wife. Wide open.
The whole basement open.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the cop said, Major Jeff Connor said, here's a guy whose family is being threatened. They're going to destroy his family while he's gone. And yet that window's left unlocked. And it was obvious it was left unlocked because there's no forced entry. Mm-hmm. So they said, what about the camera that he installed downstairs? And they said that one wasn't working. They couldn't find the recorder. It was missing. Someone took the recorder part of it. So no way. They said, well, what about the neighbor's camera across the street?
Yeah.
He's got it. And they said, we saw no strangers walking up and down the street, no vehicles, no strange people, no strange vehicles.
They parked a ways away and teleported there.
It's amazing. No, Jimmy, they tunneled in.
Yeah.
They tunneled in from, from God knows where. It could be from anywhere.
Well,
these could be Chinese agents. We have no idea. These could be Chinese military agents.
They swam in.
They fucking dug their way through the earth, and here they are. You don't know anything here.
Yeah.
So forensic scientists for the Illinois State Police wanted a basement window seized that was found open and presumed to be the killer's entry point. And they said they wanted to determine if the window was open, operating properly, or if it fell open or whatever. So they asked later on the detective, when did you first notice the scratches on his arms?
Right.
And he said, it was brought to my attention by people at the scene. And he said, well, yeah, he asked for a blanket. He said, I don't remember the interview room being very warm. For him to ask for a blanket. They go, well,
very
maybe.
Cold?
They said, well, maybe, or being very, I don't remember. Oh, I remember it being very warm in there is what he says. And they said, do you think he was in shock, like shivering? And he said, no, he was fine. Not at all.
No, he's in bullshit.
So then they ask him again, and he goes, you know what? Now I know with the scratches. I was removing a satellite dish from the roof yesterday, and I must have got scratched on the, you get up there and trees, and I got in a fight with a raccoon up there. You know how it goes.
At first I didn't know, so I just made something up. Now I remember.
I remember a family of raccoons was living in there. I had to fight them off. You know how it goes. So the police said, was there a problem with your relationship? Was there anything currently that wasn't going so well in your relationship? Mm-hmm. Chris says, no, not really. I mean, just a communication thing. Okay. So that's just a little bit you left out there.
What communication?
He said, the sergeant said, have you seen anyone else outside of your wife?
Oh.
And Chris says, what do you mean? I think you know exactly what we mean, Chris.
I don't think it's very hard.
I wouldn't even have answered that. I would have been like, seriously, bro? Fuck out of here. So the cop says, in a romantic way? And Chris says, no, not at all. Not having any relationships outside of his marriage. Absolutely not. Then, out of nowhere, he goes, no, absolutely not. No, kind of trails off. They're about to ask another question. And then he says, quote, Tara in Florida, you guys are going to talk to. I talked to her a ton lately, but, and trailed off. And they're like, who's that now?
Yeah. Say one more time.
One more time. And the sergeant goes, and what's with that? And Chris said, just a friend, somebody to talk to, And Tara is Tara Lintz, who is Sherry's best friend from high school and the dog track waitress. So,
Dollhouse dog.
Yeah. So the sergeant said, okay, you said you had a close friendship, but but were you actually doing anything that you felt wouldn't be approved by your wife?
Yeah.
Like, I know you know her, but could you sit in the living room and have the same conversation with this chick with your wife sitting next to you or not?
Wearing the same amount of clothing.
Yeah. By the way, gentlemen and ladies too, I guess, that's how you know you're doing something wrong. That's how you know that you're crossing the line as far as that goes, is if you go, she wouldn't like that. I shouldn't be doing that.
If I didn't have this amount of clothes on.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. He said, quote, some of the conversations probably.
Oh.
That's not good. But he insists.
Some of the choice of words?
Some of their conversations they've been having, I guess maybe Sherry wouldn't have liked. He insisted, though, we're just friends. He said, I met her through Sherry when our family went to Florida on vacation. We went and saw Tara, and that's how we did it. And Chris tells detectives, I just like talking to her because her personality's, quote, the same as Sherry's. She's never pushy about anything. What? Never pushy about anything?
What does that mean?
Well, then he admits to, quote, a little sexy phone flirtation, but definitely not an affair or anything like that.
Uh-oh.
So the sergeant said, did it have potential to go further? And he said, no, I didn't want to do that to my kids. Absolutely not. So then his neighbor, who's also goes to church with him and is quite a devout Christian as well, the detective, he says, quote, believing what we believe in. Now we're in this together. We're help a fellow brother in Christ out here.
Yeah.
Believing what we believe in, knowing we can be forgiven for the sins we do, we, not you, we.
Yeah.
What do you think should happen to whoever did this? Which is what they always, if they ask you that, that means they think you're guilty, by the way.
What do you think?
That means
the punishment should be what?
Chris said he should be put away.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then they said, is there any way you think this person who did it maybe has an explanation? Which is another thing to give, because if the guy is soft to that, the answer should be fucking explanation. My fucking kids and wife are dead. I don't give a fuck about his explanation. I'll stick his explanation up his fucking ass. Ask Mario DiCiccio what the explanation could be, and that's what you're going to get out of him.
Which one is going to make him feel all better?
Chris says, quote, I'm sure they have an explanation.
Oh, boy, what?
Which is not a good thing to say. Cops are like, wow, we're trying to give you outs, and you just keep putting yourself back in. We open a door, you slam it shut. What the fuck, man?
I want to stay in here. I want to stay in the...
I love it in here.
Stay in the suspicion box. This is my favorite place.
Me and my blanket. I feel very secure. Then the other cop says, do you think you've been 100% honest with us?
Do you think?
He said, yeah, I did my best with it. Again,
did my best.
Not the answer when your wife and children have been murdered. You say, fuck yeah, absolutely. Anything else you need to know, I'll be out in the waiting room coming back in here every 10 minutes asking you if you found anything yet, because I have nothing better to do because my family's dead. You know what I mean?
I'm going to go out there and speculate and bring every fucking crazy thought I have right back to you.
I'll be doing that. I'm going to talk to people. I'll be back. Don't worry. Me, Mario, all of his cousins, we're all going to round up a squad, and we're going to go find this motherfucker. That's what we'd be doing. But instead, I did my best with it.
Did my best.
Okay. So he insists Sherry was alive when he left home. The one cop says, what would you say if I told you I don't think she was alive when you left?
Oh.
He said, quote, I don't know. What? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think she was. I mean, she was. She was lying. She was laying right beside me.
Wow.
They said, do you think we have the resources and capacity to determine time of death? They're trying to scare him. And he goes, yeah, definitely. I see it on TV all the time.
I watch Dateline a lot.
Meanwhile, it's not an exact science, but it's closer than he thinks it is, I think. So, yeah, he is left alone. They go out, cops go in and out of interrogation rooms half the time just to see what the guy's going to do in there.
Right.
They walk out of the interrogation room, leave him alone. Soon as they get out the door, this is fucking amazing. He fucking grabs their interview notes from the chair and starts looking through them.
Oh, really?
His interview notes of him. He's trying to see what they think of him.
Oh, boy.
Which is, again, not a good sign.
To see how he's doing.
And they're watching him on video doing this the whole fucking time. Like, look at him. He's going through our notes now, this fucking idiot. Look at him. By the time the detectives come back in, he's just back where he was. Notes are back where they were, and he's sitting there like nothing happened. There's a camera in the room, and when they sit down, they tell you, we are recording this video and sound.
He has no idea.
They do. You see people in interrogation rooms do this shit all the time. Do things they don't want the cops to see them do when they leave the room, knowing they're being fucking videotaped. It's crazy.
Yeah, it feels like they just
can't help it.
In the heat of the pressure, they forget.
I don't know what it is, or that they won't see this. They're not looking right now. They're that desperate, I guess, maybe, that they have to take a chance.
Yeah. What about the guy that fucking confessed while he was taking a piss? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? At some point, you just forget that, because once the pressure's off, I'm not talking to anybody in particular. This mic doesn't. It's different. It's not the same.
They have 19, and they did put an extra bet down and said, "Hit me. Hope I get it too."
Let's go.
That's all they do. So he's seated again. So then the cop says, "So you're saying some madman sat in the shadows and watched for you to leave and then entered the house?" And Chris said, "That's the only thing I can assume."
Yeah, that's what happened.
They leave again. Chris is sobbing. He leans forward, head in his hands, crying. He reaches for his water and then sits up straight and gives a big sigh.
Yeah.
And he can hear the cops talking in the hallway like they're about to come back in. And he puts his jacket across the front of his body, covering his arms, and he waits. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going. Look good out there. And you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable. And you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, well, still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff. And I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool. And you can personalize this portion and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what he's not saying is what actually happened is that Sherry found out that he was having an affair with Tara. In reality.
Oh, no.
She found out. She even sent a very sad text message to one of her friends in December saying Chris wants a divorce. Okay?
So we've known about this for a while.
We've known about this for a while, but they're very private because they don't want to spread rumors in church and all that. So Sherry found out, this is from her friend, said that Sherry opened up her computer one night with a friend and said, "Do you want to see the woman who's having an affair with my husband?" And then showed images of Tara. at that point. But Sherry refused to get a divorce. She told her friend Kathy that she would not get a divorce. When he came home demanding a divorce, she told her friend that if anything happened to her, Chris did it.
Okay.
That's not good to have that floating over you. So they sent a subpoena to AT&T showing that Chris Coleman called his wife's cell phone at 5:44. 1 minute after the surveillance video captured him leaving his home to go to the gym. He called his wife's phone 3 times after that, left text messages and all that. They have that. They have him driving past the exit and coming back after he called for the check. Then they go down to St. Petersburg and have a little chit-chat with Tara to see what's going on here.
Yes.
They check her out, and Tara has a bit of a different story than he does.
What's her story?
Well, her story said it was, quote, so we went from the station. Oh, this is the cop. So we went from the station to go make contact with her, thinking it was going to be a quick 20-minute interview, and it ended up being very different.
We had dinner.
Yeah, we had a lot more than that. We had dinner. We had lunch, a dessert later on, some breakfast the next morning. Apparently, they gained a lot from Lintz about this. Totally different. Lintz said that not only were they having an affair, but that Coleman had promised her that his divorce from Sherry would be final by June 14th.
Oh, he's got a hard out.
Hard out because they're getting married right after that. He and Tara.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. The relationship started several weeks after they went down to Florida after that. Apparently, Tara does say to police that Coleman told her that he did not commit the homicides and that he has an alibi. So that's what he told me. And she provided the BlackBerry and the laptop computer that had files, videos, emails, text messages, all relating to their relationship, proving everything. They talked about getting his vasectomy reversed or drawing sperm from his body so they could have children even.
You can't. I don't think you can draw
sperm. I don't know if you can draw sperm. I don't know if that works or not. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But you can get a vasectomy reversal. Just doesn't work all the time.
Right. You go somewhere, but your body reabsorbs them. So I do know that. But
I don't know if you can get a little reservoir.
You can harvest them. Jesus.
Harvest my sperm.
Good Lord.
So that's what she said. They said that they were doing that. They wanted to have children because they were getting married.
It's time.
Tara had been looking for rings and registering at wedding registration websites. That's how far this has gone.
So far down the rabbit hole.
Yes, and she used an online service as well. Tara did look for like Zillow to look for a home in the St. Louis area for sale for her and Chris, so he could see the kids and go back and forth.
Yeah.
The cops said they were constantly contacting each other by phone, text, or instant messages. They would often send photos and videos of a graphic and sexually explicit nature back and forth to each other.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. These are all of this shit. So some more shit they found out was that, oh, my God, this is fucking crazy. So Sherry, I guess a few months before this happened, right before Chris asked for a divorce, Sherry went in to talk to Joyce Myers to try to save her relationship.
She wanted Joyce to help?
To counseling, basically. Can you help me? And plus, you're my husband's employer. So
could you please fix this?
Yeah. Sherry said that Chris had beat her up several months before that as well, like during this time. So Joyce didn't do shit about that, by the way, according to this. According to this, allegedly. I don't know. But yeah, didn't do shit. So they asked the detective later on, when you found out about Tara down there, when you talked to her, they said, did you immediately call St. Louis? And he said, I did. I said, I'm not positive, but I think this is his girlfriend. I think so. I think you might have something there. So
yeah.
At the funeral of his wife and children, which, by the way, the father, Pastor Ron, had a funeral for them at their church where they collected like money for stuff and all this type of shit too. Yeah, Grandpa, which is a little strange because the Sherry's family is not what they wanted, as we'll find out. Yeah, they just did it.
So they're using this like as a fundraiser?
Yes, that's what they were saying. That's what the family will say later on. At the funeral, Chris is texting people. He sent a text message to Tara and told her he loved her and missed her from the funeral.
Oh,
from the funeral. That is crazy. Coleman sent her text messages on May 8th and 9th, the days of the wake and the funeral. there. Also, Tara told police that she hadn't received a text message or a phone call from Chris since May 9th, since the murders. But detectives were unable to verify that statement because Tara had lost her cell phone while at Busch Gardens on June 3rd, so she couldn't tell him anything. She had the old BlackBerry because she had just gotten a new phone. So she didn't have that shit, but she had her old BlackBerry for all of that stuff. So now they bring Chris back. Sit his ass down. Now they know a lot more information. They talk to him about Tara. And the detective here, this is his neighbor, by the way, who he's known for 5 years, Barlow.
Called to ask?
Yeah. He said, quote, "There's one thing I did want to tell you right now. The St. Petersburg Homicide Unit is talking to Tara right now, and she showed us the pictures you sent her of you two, and we know you two have been having an affair." Obviously. So now what is he going to say? They found out they began seeing each other in fall of 2008. Chris would fly her to meet him at locations where he was working with Joyce. They went on a Hawaiian fucking vacation together. They went to Arizona. They went to all these different fucking places. He would just get her a plane ticket and she would meet him there.
That's scummy.
That is real scummy. So the detective said, "I know you guys went to Hawaii together. We pulled the Enterprise leasing car receipt where you guys went on different trips together. And then they have pictures of them at dinner together in different outfits. One, she's like biting his cheek and he's like giving her a look. Another one, they're kissing. And then it gets worse from there for him."
Really?
Anyway, he says, the cop says that we pulled them together and, the receipts where you guys went on different trips together. Chris interrupts and says, quote, this is a great fucking quote, "Well, I didn't think it was an affair."
Why? How?
The detective says, just in pure human reaction, "You didn't think it was an affair? Like, are you fucking nuts?" Chris then says, maybe the funniest thing anybody's ever said in small town murder history. Quote, "No, an affair is when you're like living with them and you plan to get married and everything."
Oh,
no, that's called another relationship.
Yeah,
that's called that's a moving on in another relationship.
That's a double life if you lead both of them parallel.
Then that could be double life, or that's that. But when you live at home and tell your wife everything's fine, and then fuck her friend and plan to marry her, that's an affair.
That's an affair. Yeah,
that's absolutely an affair. He's like, "Oh wow, I guess my vocabulary's bad."
Man,
jeez. I missed that day in the Marines. So they said that she had on her calendar a scheduled wedding day to Chris Coleman. Tara did.
She's got the date picked.
Date picked out, scheduled vacations, different accounts, credit card accounts that they held together. They held credit cards together. Chris and Tara.
I didn't know that was a relationship.
Dude, you have.
I don't know that's an affair.
They have credit together, man. Holy shit. And,
you can ruin your children's lives.
Yeah, you could destroy them. And the cop said, "I think that she, honest to God, believed that he was going to leave his wife and 2 children and be with her." That's what she believed. So Chris said, "Well, we talked about it a while back about possibly maybe splitting up or something, he and Sherry. We started meeting with actually one of the pastors." And the detective said, "From Joyce's church?" And he said, "Yeah, things have been going awesome."
Okay.
He insisted him and his wife just had a few bumps in the road and that counseling helped and everything's fine and it's all good. Now, Meanwhile, her friend Kathy said, quote, "She was in my room and she was crying and Chris wanted to leave her. And then he would start to say hurtful things like, 'I've never loved you.'"
Chris.
What the fuck? And she said, and he would put on a face in front of the marriage counselor. And Sherry said when he got back home, he'd yell at her and, there would be hell to pay for whatever was said in the counseling session.
Right. But why?
Because he wanted to fucking marry this broad.
Yeah.
So, they said that the major said, quote, "It wasn't like we were wanting to believe that Chris is the one who did this. It's just that the evidence kept pointing to him. Everything we found says it could only be Chris."
Right.
By the way, that glove they found matched a box, and I guess a lot number it would have matched of the, I don't know if not the lot number of the glove, but of the box of the certain amount that were made of a company of latex gloves that were found in a box at Joyce Meyer Ministries where he works.
No.
Yeah. In the security office, by the way, not just like, in a bathroom or in his office.
He took gloves from work.
Yep, he had a master key to that office, so anytime he wants. Oh,
just
the
a
rope.
pair? Yeah.
Oh, the rope. Detectives find an orange piece of twine with a noose tied on one end near the Jefferson Barracks Bridge, right by where they found the glove, that resembled exactly the twine used to tie 4 bales of straw found in the Coleman's backyard.
Wow.
Yeah. Jesus, man. They also request a warrant for the body of Chris Coleman here for his fluids, hairs, tissues, whatever the fuck, or any evidence that spray paint was used by the subject.
Yeah.
So the police took 2 swabbings of his right hand and noticed a reddish injury to his right forearm, 2 scratches to his right forearm, and they also take handwriting samples from him. Because he's like, I'll happily give you whatever you need. What they find, though, there's a travel bag in his car that contains his wallet. Inside of his wallet is a receipt dated July 29th from Home Depot for the purchase of spray paint.
What did he get? Oh, what kind?
We don't know the color. It's not on there, but they have this spray paint. So he bought spray paint, and he kept the receipt in his wallet. So this guy, by the way, we'd said this during the live show, he really went from one thing to he really edged himself into Chris Watts territory pretty fucking fast here.
Yeah.
He's reminding me of a Chris, and it's the wrong Chris.
As it's the exact same story.
Exactly. Having an affair.
How did the Chris Watts story become? Is it because of the disposal?
It has to be because of the disposal, and maybe the fact that it was a few years later, so there was more cameras places. Like they have the guy when he's
the last photo of her.
They got that. They have the next door neighbor's surveillance footage when they're talking to him.
They got Chris saying sweet.
Sweet, yeah. There's so many times during that where you can just see, oh shit, he's in a lot of trouble here and it's coming up. So I think maybe that's it. Or, I don't know, 2 little girls, they were younger. The boys were like, but the boys were so little and cute too. They were like 11 and 9.
Right, tiny little guys.
I guess if you're under 5, maybe that's it. I don't know what it is.
Is it the peanut allergy?
Is it the fucking pictures? Is it because there's so many pictures of them on social media
It's because
together?
she documented so much of herself with those girls.
Meanwhile, Sherry took all her shit down off Facebook before this, so maybe that's why. I'm not sure, but it's a very good question, though. What's the difference? I don't know.
What's the difference between this and that? Because it's the exact same story. Yeah. Maybe scummier? I don't know.
It's pretty fucking gross. I don't know if you. I think they're equal levels of scum, probably.
We just know so much more about what Chris did.
Yeah. Well, Christ, we know what this guy did, but it was just
the other Chris.
The other Chris. Yeah. They're both Chris's. Yeah.
That's the other crazy part.
That's it. They're both Chris. They're the same. They're like the same age. They're the same. If you look at them, too, they're the same type of guy. When you look at them, they're the same type of guy.
Douchebag.
It's the same cat. It's real weird. So. Again, now they find, because he's like, no, I mean, I talked to her, but, affairs, that seems crazy. So then the cops found explicit videos made by Chris sent to Tara. One, wow, they found it on videos on laptops and Blackberries here.
Oh, no.
In one video, Chris is naked, telling Tara that he loves her. Okay. In another video, which, I mean, hey, you know what?
Listen.
God is love, I guess, and if you're a religious person, you love people. Remember Brother Love from wrestling? He loved people.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. But if you're naked when you do it, it makes it a little weirder.
Who among us?
I'm going to spread God's pure love from my cock.
I need you to see
shoot it all
my
over your
hairy
face.
balls as I say, I love you.
Oh, it's a God bukkake, everybody. Come gather around.
Yeah.
So he's naked in another video. He's just in the shower masturbating.
Oh,
he just set the camera up and was like, watch me jerk it in the shower, Chief.
Oh, that's no good.
And she's like, yeah.
Oh,
give me some more of that shower jerking.
Oh, show me you tugging.
Give me some tugging. So
there's a community of mutual masturbators. That's it's an interesting thing.
Well, if they're real into each other, that's whatever. But that's what she wanted him to do, maybe. So
wow.
He's also narrating a video as he tours a Hawaii hotel room with Tara. They're both in the video. You can hear her. He videotapes the bathroom and then points it in the shower and says, yeah, this is where me and Tara were fucking last night.
Oh, my God.
Who's he telling this to, number one?
Right.
Who's this for? they know they fucked in there. And then her voice chimed in and said, "We're being bad in Hawaii. We're in Hawaii being bad."
Oh, my God.
They're both naked in this video, by the way. Just walking around naked.
Just wandering around, swinging.
Just swinging, balls drooping back and forth. Coleman's BlackBerry, Chris's BlackBerry, has tons of notes about Tara.
Oh?
Notes like, this is wild, her bra and panty sizes, what kind of food she likes or dislikes. This is why guys can't be fucking more than one woman correctly, because we can only remember this about one person. This is the problem. We can't, we need to start writing stuff down. Now you're asking for trouble. Stop.
Why do you, these are all very easy to remember things.
Man, they said her bra and panty sizes, what kind of food she liked or disliked, her jewelry preferences, her dog Gizmo's birthday, and what they're going to name their daughter when they have one. Which, by the way, in case you're curious, is Zoe Lynn Coleman.
Yikes.
There you go.
If you love this woman, you should know all of those things.
But when you have a wife and 2 kids and a job and all this, that's what I mean.
You don't want to mix it up.
You don't have the brain capacity for this. So that's why you shouldn't be doing this, because it's very difficult to keep all that up, I would assume. That's hard. So Sherry's friends here said that Sherry had confided to them that her husband believed that she and her sons were holding him back in his job. He could be much more successful if it wasn't for my pain-in-the-ass family.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what he said. And he said that he planned, when they talked about a divorce, he said, well, we can't get a divorce because if I get a divorce, I'll get fired. Okay. That doesn't go with the ministry here, having a divorced guy stand next to Joyce, even though she's divorced. So a whole other issue, though. Right? I mean, come on. So one of the friends said she told him he was tired of her keeping him from God's destiny in life. I'm tired of keeping you from God's destiny, Chris. Spread your wings and fly. Mm-hmm. I will. Right down to St. Petersburg to fuck your dog track waitress best friend. Jesus Christ.
From her other shift at the Dollhouse.
Another friend here, Jessica Wade, said that while she was staying with the Colemans over Christmas 2008, this is just a few months before the killings there, Sherry talked about the affair that Chris was having and showed her Tara on the notebook there on the computer. So a youth minister at St. Louis's Destiny Church that they go to said that Sherry tried to salvage her marriage. She told him, "I'm not giving up. I love Chris way too much. This seems like a horrible dream." Mm-hmm. Everybody knows about their marital problems, it seems like.
It's wild.
It's everybody.
Insane how many people are very well aware of what's happening behind closed doors.
Friends, pastors, church people. This is crazy. So then she said that Kathy LaPlante, or one friend, said that she was visiting the Colemans the weekend before the murders took place, and she noticed Sherry had changed her relationship status because she had put up another Facebook account, a different one, from married to single, and had started using her maiden name on there.
Oh.
So something was going on. She said that Chris interrupted their conversation and authoritatively said, "We will not talk about that tonight." And that was the end of it. And then she said also, "If anything happens to me, Chris did it."
Right.
Yeah. So the neighbor that said they were the perfect family said that, I guess, that Chris had talked of their marital problems back as December 2008, all the way back when that girl was there, when her friend was there and she was showing her the pictures on the laptop. They said that it was tradition for their older son, Garrett, to come over for her son's birthday, but he didn't come in May 2009, saying, quote, "Dad said it's not a good night tonight." That was the night before they were killed. They were found the next morning. So he might have thought Garrett might ask to spend the night over there. And that would be bad, because then we're going to leave one live kid over here. That's not going to work.
Now I got to go be,
His parents, though, Pastor Ron and Pastor Ron's wife Connie here, Pastor Mom and Dad, they were stunned to learn that their son had an affair. Never mind that he killed his wife and kids. He had an affair.
Why is sex such a thing?
And they insisted he had nothing to do with the murders.
Oh.
He didn't do it, and I'm shocked that he had an affair. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. The sex is the bad part, not that he killed his 2 kids.
It's very weird.
Very weird. Connie said he's always been a real gentle person, kind of quiet. It's crazy. So they said, is there any way that there's part of Chris that you don't know, maybe, that could have been capable of this?
Yeah.
Pastor Ron, is there anything in the universe you don't know? No. He's in the business of saying, I know shit that's unknowable. So he said, not in my view. You couldn't put something up around your kid. You couldn't put something around your kid's throat unless you're a monster. It's just not there. It's just not there. Chris isn't a monster.
Okay, so he's got to be a monster to be able to have done that.
Yep.
I know that kid. He's not a monster, so that obviously acquitted.
We're good. Yeah, that's it.
Keep looking.
You need any more answers to any more questions? You come to Pastor Ron. I'm the guy. Wow. So
you come to the preacher man.
You come to the preacher man. I got you covered, babe. So the search of the house, the cops also recovered 2 guns, bullets, several prepaid cell phones from inside the home. You know, burner phones you'd have if you were having an affair. A BlackBerry, digital cameras, and computer equipment from the home as well, where they got a bunch of videos off of. Yeah. Recovered from the basement office was a sealed envelope containing sales orders for Coleman's company, Executive Innovations, as well as letters written by inmates to Joyce Myers. They also took into evidence tickets to Disneyland found laying on Chris Coleman's desk in the basement office. Uh-huh. Okay. Now people start to turn on Chris a little bit here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Any sympathy that he had, as soon as word spread that he was fucking Tara, every church person dropped him like that.
They hate him now.
Everybody that was his friends that were like, oh, no, he's innocent. He had an affair. Done. Kathy, the neighbor, said, well, when the affair came out and I had no idea, I had just heard about it from someone else. I feel like every day I was just getting stabbed in the heart by these little pieces of information. They said that they asked one of the people, do you think that he'll be arrested? And she says, yes, and I can't wait. I'm nervous, to be honest with you. The cops said, obviously, in any case, you want to get the person responsible for it, but you want to get the right person. So, yeah, they found, like we said, all these fucking videos. The one cop said it was a serious affair. He had written down her measurements, her favorite things, everything about her he had stored so he could, buy her things or do whatever for her.
Oh, boy.
By November 5th of 2008, Chris had written on his computer that was the day that Tara had changed his life. So that was it. So they said, and how many days after that did the threat start to show up at his house? I'll kill you, all that shit.
Right.
9 days later.
Oh, shit.
It took him 9 days to come up with the scheme
to come up with how to figure this out and fix it. Yeah.
Which will be some stranger wants to kill me. He's the one who killed my wife and kids. Easy, I'm good.
He already determined he was going to murder his entire family.
In November. Otherwise, there's no reason to send threats that specifically threaten I'll kill your wife and kids if I can't get to them.
That is unfucking believable.
That is disgusting.
That's dark.
That's dark shit. I don't even think Chris Watts had that much planning.
That makes it worse.
Spur of the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, way worse.
I think Chris did it right now. Yeah.
This is a monster. This is a fucking bigger monster by far. Absolutely.
Like his dad said.
Yeah, it would take a monster to plan it ahead of time and do that. It's fucking wild. The Colemans, though, still not buying it.
Really?
Still not buying it. They said that, quote, it's my understanding, this is an interviewer to his parents, quote, it's my understanding that he had written down November 5th, the day Tara changed my life. They had exchanged promise rings, and he had even written down the name of their first child were it to be a little girl. Is any of that true? And Ron said, that's not Chris.
No, that's not what we asked.
It's not an answer. Again, were you honest with us? Did the best I could. Not an answer.
Not an answer.
Not an answer. That's not Chris. Not an answer.
I don't care.
Connie steps. That's it. Connie steps in and goes, honestly, I cannot imagine him doing that. He just didn't. He just didn't really operate in that arena of emotions. He just didn't. He was very calm and very logical sense.
Well, guess what, Connie? You don't have to imagine it.
No.
He did it.
He did do it, and especially you take a reasonable man, and you mix new pussy into that equation and shake it all up in a bottle, it's gonna fizz like you just shook up a fucking Coke. Boy. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's gonna explode everywhere. He doesn't.
That's a Mentos in a Coke.
That is a Mentos in a Coke that makes jizz come out somehow.
You betcha.
To leak out of the top of the bottle.
It's nuts.
They said that they believe he's innocent and that it was an intruder who killed his family and left those hateful messages.
Okay.
So Chris even voluntarily provided samples of his own handwriting. Why would he do that if he wasn't innocent, they say? Well, at that point, they got an expert to say at the crime scene, probably the handwriting on the walls was his. That's what the guy said. That's probably, it's most likely his.
I mean, it's hard to tell. A pen versus a crayon?
Yeah, it's a different thing. But there's certain ways you make your letters, I guess, that you can tell.
Just make them bigger.
Yeah, there's a U, especially for some reason that he has. A certain thing that he does with a U.
Loop? Yeah.
It's a thing he does down that they didn't like. So they said the crime scene lab coming back and saying that the handwriting found on the wall matches up to the handwriting from the handwriting example that Chris Coleman gave the Columbia Police Department. That's what Detective Barlow told the press. Now, source of the threats. Where the fuck did all these threats come from?
Right.
Apparently, they were able to determine that the threatening messages sent to Christopher Coleman's work email at Joyce Meyer Industries actually were sent from a laptop computer supplied to Chris Coleman by Joyce Meyer Ministries.
Oh, no.
He sent it from another work computer.
He's an idiot.
He is not real bright. He's like BTK. Can they track that?
No, we can't. Great.
Wow.
Here, have it.
Yep, great. Investigators located the email address destroychris@gmail.com on the laptop, according to the search documents. Jesus, he's dumb. Fuck, Chris. This isn't even close to getting away with it, bro. On the same laptop, they reported earlier that they had found a misspelling of the word opportunities that was found in threatening emails and in a letter sent to Robert Drive, and the word was spelled in different opportunities. Opportunities, and that's how he had spelled it like that on several different things. So
amazing.
2 weeks after the murders, he is finally charged with the murders.
Sure.
After they put all this together. Mm-hmm. So this is great. One of the cops said, quote, if it was another time, they would have had pitchforks and lanterns in their hands. They were out for vengeance. They wanted the case solved, and they wanted it solved immediately, and they wanted him to be found guilty immediately, meaning the community. They wanted his fucking blood, man. So, yeah, he said they asked the Ron Coleman, were you there when he was arrested? And Pastor Ron said, yes, it was at night. The worst scenario. We'd lost Garrett and Gavin and Sherry, and now Chris is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they, they're pissed off here. Now, the Kathy LaPlante lady, the friend, said, quote, I've talked to some of the moms and the children in the community, and they wonder if their dad could do the same thing. You got a bunch of people minding their P's and Q's now.
Yeah, they got a bunch of dads going, in the community.
Yes, Father. Yes, Father. I'd love to mow the lawn, Father. You got women going, you need a blowjob? Can I give you a blowjob quick? What do you think?
Best thing ever happened for me.
Yeah, guy's like, I'm not going to kill any of you. And they're like, oh, okay, never mind then.
I love you all, but keep doing this shit.
Kill us, yeah. Jesus Christ. Wow. And they said, it's all over a woman here. That's all it was, all over this woman. They arraign him. And when they arraign him, there's more than 25 people outside the courthouse that just want to scream baby killer at him and murderer and scream shit at him as he goes in the courtroom. He's got a vest on and everything. He looks like they bring him in like he's Tim McVeigh or something.
Oh,
like he took down a federal building. Oh, yeah, they bring him in and they're yelling, baby killer, you son of a bitch. They finally got you, you bastard. People are hating him.
Yeah.
He pleads not guilty. And, he's ordered held without bail.
Yeah.
And as he's being brought out of the jail, one of the onlookers, in addition to shouting, they got you, your baby killer, blah, 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 one shouted, hell's too good for you. The camera got that clear. And he was like, Jesus.
How fucking Christian of you.
The hell's too good for you. Yeah. Thank you for your forgiveness. Thank you.
You want to read up on that thing that you claim to love so much?
They said, no, we put the New Testament down for this shit. We don't even look at it for this type of thing. We go old school for this deal.
Yeah.
Now, Sherry's family, they have a family spokesperson who's a cousin of Sherry's named Enrico Mirabelli is the cousin. God, they're so Italian. I love it. So Sherry's cousin, and he's the spokesperson for the family. Oh. By the way, we got to pick a spokesperson because that's
genius. Yeah.
How much does that family sound like they have their shit together if you say
streamline that shit? That's awesome.
Pick a spokesperson now in case you're murdered. You never know.
Streamline the grief and anger. Leave it to one guy.
It's very organized. I'm impressed. He said, the arrest gives the family certain closure because one of the questions of who did it, we believe, has now been answered. He said this very Italian.
Yeah,
because one of the questions of who did it, we believe, has now been answered.
Yeah.
That's one way to say it.
And it's very cute that they put him in a bulletproof vest. Like, we won't put 2 behind the ear and walk the fuck away.
Like, we don't aim for the head. I mean, honestly. He could survive one to the trunk. What are we talking about?
I don't give a shit about that son of ass. That's not for us.
Out of here, son of. What am I, a cop? No, I go, we're doing for results here.
I'm in for that little grape above his shoulders.
That's the one. He said, you can't make sense out of a senseless act. And now we're left with the question of why it happened, which may never be answered. But that's an important question to Sherry's family. Yeah. That's right. So Chris's attorney told reporters he's probably going to seek a change of venue from this county, where there's people standing outside screaming for his balls on a stick.
Some very angry people that claim to be very loving.
That's the jury pool. So we should probably leave, is what I'm saying.
Somebody's screaming, hell's too good for you.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So the no bail for him, the judge determined that the bail poses a real and present threat to the physical safety of any person.
Right.
He's a piece of shit. Apparently, he's being held without bail. The case must be brought to trial within 90 days instead of the typical 120 days because he's being held without anything. And if the case had not gone to trial within 90 days, then bail has to be set at that point. That's the law there. So his lawyer says, my client maintains his innocence and will play this out in the judicial system.
Okay.
All right. Chris here. Chris says that this is fucking funny. It is after he's arrested and everything. Joyce Myers fires him now.
Oh, yeah.
He's fired now.
Real difficult, this guy.
He resigned from his job after being told he had to or be fired for violating their, quote, morals policy.
Oh.
Apparently, if you slaughter your family, that's against their morals.
That's immoral?
That's immoral, apparently. Beating your wife, though, knocking her around when she came in and told you, that falls under moral, apparently.
Rule of thumb.
You kill everyone, then it's not moral anymore.
Yeah.
So, okay. Joyce's ministry put out, quote, this horrible tragedy has deeply saddened us all. Although nothing can be done to compensate for the loss of this beautiful family, our ministry remains fully behind the diligent efforts of the law enforcement community. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So people are pissed off. A couple people here they talked to. One is a woman from Waterloo, Iowa, and she says this is exactly what the death penalty was created for.
Oh, really?
This is why here. Yeah. They said neighbors, people have mixed reactions, though. People said, one here, a neighbor, said, the first few days my heart told me there's no way he could have done this. I'm completely and utterly shocked. They said, though, when he was arrested, they said that he said he didn't want to convict Coleman before he's tried, but that the arrest could help bring closure. Uh-huh. And he said it was definitely a sigh of relief when he was arrested. We needed that in this neighborhood. We need a good murder arrest scenario.
Right.
Another neighbor said, I wasn't wanting to accuse him, and even now we've got to wait for all the evidence to come out. I hope justice is served. It'll be up to a jury to decide. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So another neighbor said, I'm just glad that it was fast and moved quick. We're all just relieved it's over with. It's not over with. It's just the arrest. Not even close to over with.
It's just starting.
She also said, this woman said that her 11-year-old daughter has not been able to sleep in 2 weeks since the murder. Same age as Garrett.
Yeah.
She said, it's been very stressful. I'm hoping after this we can all move forward. I'm hoping we can all move on as a community. And they said the neighbor once said, I miss the noise of Garrett and Gavin the most. So it's sad. Yeah. It's very sad. Sherry's family files a wrongful death suit against Chris. Abso-fucking-lutely. He's got a couple of bucks and they're going to try to drain it before he uses it for legal purposes here. So they want to know whether donations to a church headed by Reverend Ron there are being used for the benefit of Chris, his legal fund.
Oh,
are you taking money from the church and giving it to your son? Mm-hmm. That's what they're going for. So he said he will not. Ron said he's not going to comment.
Oh.
He's the minister at the Grace Church Ministries in Chester, by the way, at the time. Said he wouldn't comment. The testimony by Columbia police chief outlined evidence against Chris, and it so disturbed one donor to the bereavement fund. People they had a bereavement fund through the church.
That's gross.
That's gross. This guy, when he saw that, when he heard the testimony of what actually happened, this guy was so disturbed that he put a stop payment on the check that he sent.
Wow.
Yeah. No, he said not happening.
Bereave nothing.
Bereave your ass, you're bereaved, is what he said. Also, a wrongful death suit filed against Chris Coleman on behalf of Sherry's family, and they said that this is when this lawyer had told this donor about having collection baskets at the funeral. Wow. At the funeral.
Wow.
Gross. They said they want an accounting of collections taken on May 9th, and so they can say where they used it.
We'll pass the basket around the family.
Wow. I'm really sad. Oh, good. Give me $20 then. That's amazing. They said,
put money in the basket.
Put your money in the basket. We were chagrined at this revelation that this fund, and understand it's a sizable amount. I wonder where that money went and whether it's being used to benefit Christopher Coleman, which obviously you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, right.
Ronald Coleman was asked to produce documents in connection with the wrongful death suit, such as Christopher Coleman's income tax return, salary and benefit information, copies of his military discharge papers, and firearm owner's identification card. So no financial information is listed about what's taken in or what's going out in this church, because it's a church and considered not required to file tax returns with the Internal Revenue Service. So
unbelievable.
Might be. Yeah. Could have gave that all to the lawyer. All the people sad about those kids and that woman being dead could have been paying for his fucking defense.
Unbelievable.
Disgusting. So Joyce Meyer, written request there, went unanswered. She's like, we made a statement.
Yeah.
I don't know. But she had to give a bunch of documents, over 400 pages in the wrongful death suit. Everything related to the work computers and all that. She had to do that. So they gave up all these documents, including job evaluations, employee handbook, and all this type of shit here. So
I'm sure there was some embarrassing shit in there.
Oh, yeah. The prosecutor says this was a crime about greed, sex, selfishness, and narcissism. Check, and check, I would say. Fuck yeah, that's good. Chris Coleman decided he wanted a new life, and his family was in the way. He was obviously a monster who carried out a very sadistic plan. Oh, shit. They have a prosecutor who spends 2 years building this case against him.
Yeah.
The prosecutor said this was a huge case. It was like a 10,000-piece puzzle. So they said it was a big case for the local media as well. They ended up, rather than moving the whole case, they just bring the jury in, which is the same thing they did for, I believe they did that with Casey Anthony too.
Imported one,
I think they imported a jury in. Yeah, I think that's what they do. A jury from Tampa they brought in. Here they bring a jury in and bus them in an hour and a half away, which I don't think is far enough away.
No.
In rural fucking Missouri or rural Illinois.
You're going to have to get them from Alaska.
Yeah, absolutely. They said, what was the biggest challenge for you as a prosecutor in the case? And the guy said, people who turn out to be jurors have to accept the fact that parents kill their kids. It's just hard to accept. He just looks like a good guy.
What?
He on the outside. Besides the kids thing, you have to apparently, and jurors will say that too, they need extra to believe a parent killed their kid.
Really?
Because they have kids and they go, I could never kill my kid. I don't understand that. They can't, it doesn't. Everybody's been in a relationship and been in a fight with someone where they'll be like, if I could fucking strangle that person, even for half a second, you think, if I could fucking strangle him and get away with it, I swear to fucking God I would. And then you go into whatever thing.
Yeah.
But kids, they don't think I've wanted to kill my kids. That's why. They never thought about killing their kids if they're,
Yeah, I mean, I guess that exists in some, but
it's a lot of these jurors.
I believe the shit out of it.
I'll believe. Well, obviously we do, because how many times have we seen it? But these jurors who don't hear shit like this very often aren't big. They're not turkeys, is what it is.
Yeah.
The unturkey-like jurors have no fucking function in this.
All these non-turkeys.
Non-turkeys. So they said, as unthinkable as it was, though, they turned up more evidence against him constantly, and they said the prosecutor thought there was reasons that Chris wanted Sherry to be the one to divorce him, so that way he wouldn't have to he wouldn't lose his job. Say my wife's leaving me. He couldn't lose his job for his wife leaving him. That would just be sad.
So if he files divorce, he looks like a dick and he'll get fired.
Exactly.
Has to wait for her to file it, which costs you more money.
That's what it is. The prosecutor said, I believe he became so enraptured by Tara, but he couldn't get divorced in his own mind because then he'd lose his $100,000 a year job with Joyce Meyer Ministries. They frown on divorce if it's your fault. That's the thing. If it's you, he can't say, I'm fucking this hot chick from Florida, so I'd like to get a divorce. Is that cool? They would have been like, no. But if he says, oh, my God, my wife doesn't want to be married anymore, then it's sad. And they'll be like, we'll find you somebody else. So
good news, I already did.
Already got somebody, as a matter of fact. They said if there would, I guess they said that Coleman he wanted to make a clean break before anybody caught on about the affair. They said if it would have been anything of an adulterous affair while he was still married, his job would have definitely been affected. So why? They said, why did he do this? What made this happen? And the prosecutor said, I think it was Tara pressing him. I think he got pushed into his own corner. He put out a date, and the date was coming up, and there was no way he could meet that date.
It's not her pushing him. It's him being an idiot. He said something.
Exactly. He's agreeing to all this shit.
Yeah.
It's what it is. But, I mean, she's saying we're getting married on this day. I got the registration. And he was like, oh, fuck. And she's like, you're going to be divorced on the 14th, right? And he said, absolutely. Coming up fast. He said they have wedding dates planned. Chris told Tara that he was serving Sherry with divorce papers on May 5th, the day of the homicides. That's when he said divorce papers were coming. They said, had he ever filed divorce papers? None that we ever found, no.
Divorce papers in the form of a garrote. What a dick.
Garrote. That way he could say, I was going to have her served with divorce papers today, but they were murdered. Isn't that sad? Wow. Now give me sympathy as well. That's fine. He never even spoke to an attorney about a divorce, by the way. Now, it's at this point where a judge has to block Sherry's family's request to have the remains of her and her sons exhumed out of where they fucking were and reburied near where she's from in Chicago and where the family is. They want them up there. They go, why should the fucking murderer and his family have the kids and our daughter?
Why does he get to pick?
Yeah, so now they have to weigh arguments between his family and her family.
Oh, boy.
Relatives of Sherry and the two boys had hoped to disinter the remains from a cemetery in Chester, but it's been blocked by a judge. Just hours before the exhumation, a judge issued a temporary restraining order sought by Chris and his parents to halt the exhumation there. They said it's hard to envision that a murderer can dictate to the victim's family where they must go see their loved ones, is what Enrico Mirabelli said. It's malicious. Yeah, he's an attorney, by the way, Enrico.
Is he? That's why.
Enrico Mirabelli, go to him.
Yeah.
He'll take care of business, I'm telling you right now. He knows. He said, we find the Coleman's actions simply adding insult to injury, and we're confident the judge will reflect their position, meaning his family's position. So they set a date. The relatives had been issued a permit, and now the permit will run out because they blocked it, so they'll have to get a whole nother permit and all that kind of shit there. They said the legal dispute is the latest tangle. After the killings, Sherry's family got a court order that allowed them to bring the bodies to a Chicago area memorial service before the remains were driven back to southwestern Illinois for burial. Driven back. An attorney for Chris Coleman and his parents said that his clients have agreed to abandon any challenge to the exhumations and reburials if Coleman loses the murder trial.
Based on whether...
if they find him guilty, you can have the bodies. Yeah. If not, then we're going to fight.
If not, then you can't do anything.
Oh, my God. They said, suppose he wins. Suppose he's found not guilty. What would happen if the bodies have already been moved to the Chicago area? Who cares? Yeah. Now they're with her family. Jesus. They said that then they'd have to be disinterred a second time. That would be ludicrous and unnecessary.
We're going to keep moving them back and forth?
Just what the fuck, man?
Put them on tour.
That's wild. Christopher and his parents argued in court that they just want them to be able to rest in peace where they're at. Yeah. Unless Christopher is found guilty, then fine. So, wow. They called Coleman's 11th hour bid to block the reburials hurtful and disappointing, to say the least. Sherry Coleman's family said they've been through this terrible murder, endured the trial so far, because it's coming up, it's happening right now, and did not really anticipate this response from the Colemans. They said, quote, I guess the Colemans don't think we've suffered enough. There's a certain amount of insensitivity to this that I cannot really comprehend. This takes a lot of nerve, is what he said.
Yeah.
Nerve is a good way to put balls. The balls on these people. The fucking sack on this fucking group.
Incredible. Yeah.
So the trial comes around. The defense, their strategy is to block the handwriting experts.
Okay.
So then they don't have physical evidence, and all they have is Chris had an affair.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So if you don't prove he wrote the stuff on the walls and they can't prove that, then what are they really proving at this point? So they said that there's a big motion about a reanalysis of scrawled handwriting on the walls and all this type of thing. There's 37 police photographs of the writing. And they said what Mr. Moore is saying, that there's some similarities, which imply there's some differences as well, which basically render the findings totally inconclusive. That's the defense's thing.
Okay.
Some similarities mean some dissimilarities, too. So it's over.
50% rain means 50% no rain.
That's what I'm saying. It comes out. Half full, half empty. What are we talking about? I don't know. Tell you what, though, not this shit, not conclusive. They said relevant evidence means evidence having tendency to make the existence of any fact that is of consequence to the determination of the action more probable or less probable than it would be without the evidence. Jesus Christ. That's a motion that it says, actually. So the opening of this, they hear the detailed description of the crime scene photos projected onto a large screen of what they found, including dead children.
Oh, my God.
They found the wife. They found the kids. Sherry's mother left the courtroom during this testimony. Wow. And Christopher's cold, they said his face was flushed and he struggled to keep from crying, but did not turn to look at the photos projected near him. They made a model house of the house. Rather than taking the jurors to the house, they made a tiny little model house and brought it in.
Okay.
Said, here's where stuff happened. So you could see.
This is where the bad man did the bad things.
Yeah, this is where he touched us. So
yeah.
It's fucking weird. They did it as an exact model. That's kind of neat. So they did detectives here. They talked about while they were at the station, they received a call to back up. This one cop said he went over because Barlow needed backup. He testifies to, I'm always watching. It says leave. It says punished, all that kind of shit. You have paid. They said this is the guy who said he spotted Sherry first, and this is the thick skin of the dinosaur and all that. Yeah. The pathologist testified about the autopsy, said her best guess of time of death, like I said, was between 3 to 5. And they said that all 3 died from ligature strangulation. Tara arrives to testify.
Okay.
It's like the press is everywhere for this. Like she is like paparazzi going in there, flash bulbs going off. So they've been hearing this whole trial, other woman, he's got this other woman, and then here she is actually. The jury gets to see her. And they said, this is one of the reporters. She arrived at the courthouse almost like a Hollywood star arriving somewhere. It was a packed courtroom gallery. She testified they texted and talked all the time, constantly. She said that they said, "Did you have plans to marry?" And she said the divorce had to happen first. They said, do you think, they asked later on if they thought that Tara had anything to do with the murders, and all the prosecutors said no, they didn't think she knew what the fuck was going on at all. Okay. They said she didn't know that something was about to happen, and they said, not from any evidence, I don't believe that. And they would have charged her if they could have. But while Tara was on the stand, she had to watch sexually explicit videos she made and do all. Now, is this you? Now, you're saying he said put another finger in and you did. Yeah. Now, is that you? He said tickle your butthole for me. And is that...
Whose titty is that?
Is that... I believe that's your titty. Yes, it is. Okay, your titty. And I believe it's a clockwise motion you're using, right? Everybody catch the clockwise motion she's using? Down on
there's
her,
a pinch.
And her genitalias, and you run it down and on back. There you go. Now get it on. That's the way you do it there. Everybody else getting horny? All right, then. So
you were being what in Hawaii? Could you say?
What was that now? Bad? That's what I thought now. You know what we figure out in court? Who's been bad? So, yeah, she testifies for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah, that's all it is. And
yep.
She only looked at Coleman when the prosecutor asked her to identify him. They knew each other for more than a decade, but on November 5th, 2008, that was the day Tara changed my life. She said they first had sex in mid-December, right around the time he said we're getting a divorce to his wife. That was about the same time, by the way, Sherry had confided in Tara that she and her husband were no longer having sex. So we haven't had sex in a long time, so Tara's like, oh, good, then he's telling me the truth, so I can fuck him.
You haven't had sex in a long time? I just had sex last night. That's crazy.
Oof, no wonder why he had so much in there. Wow, I was covered in it. So they professed their loves. They made photos and plans to marry, like we said, promise rings, blah, blah, blah. They went to Arizona for a conference. They went to Hawaii for a conference. They went to other places. Lynch said that she didn't like the fact that the Coleman family was planning a trip to Disney World. She said, I'm sure I didn't care for it. I told him to cancel.
What?
Coleman told her that he would lose his deposit. And
you don't understand.
So she then got on the phone and pretended to be Sherry and called Disney customer service and pretended and got it postponed at least. So then maybe they could do that. So then Coleman and Tara booked a cruise together for June or July to St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands.
What?
She made reservations and paid for it with their joint credit card. This guy
went to the Bahamas.
Wow. St. Thomas? Are you fucking kidding me? Coleman talked about divorcing his wife. She said he told Lynch that he was having Sherry serve with the divorce papers on May 4th, but there was a typo on his wife's name, so then he was going to have her served on May 5th because they had to get all the papers retyped again.
Now he's down to fucking the last day of.
There was a typo on the form, and so, shit, how do I do this? So they had spoken, by the way, the night of May 4th while he was working out at the gym. They exchanged texts when he came home. She said, I'm sure I told him good luck, referring to, talking to them about the divorce and all that kind of thing. Coleman's father called her on May 5th to tell her about the murders, and Chris texted her that day from the Columbia Police Department where he was being interrogated hours after the body was discovered. Wow. Bodies. So 8 days after the murder, she received a call from Coleman while she was at her parents' house waiting for major case squad detectives to arrive to question her. She told them police were on the way, and he said, quote, oh, really? Interesting. I would say.
Fascinating.
Wow. The defense attorneys come in here, and, defense attorney questions. Basically, defense attorney Jim Stern's questioning of Detective Barlow brought out a defense theory that Chris Coleman's brother, Keith, could be the suspect in the murders.
Wow.
Is Tara fucking him too? Because if she's not, I doubt it. Mm-hmm. Keith Coleman, who lives in Arkansas, sent his brother, listen to this, sent his brother 2 strangulation videos, one of a dog and another in which a dying deer is strangled.
Why did he send that?
I don't know. That's sick, and they're obviously, I don't know what the fuck they're into or what.
Far too close.
But that's still, there's no evidence he was here. So that's the problem with that, though.
Like that.
After the trip started, Keith Coleman wanted to stay with his brother's family while Chris was out of town on ministry trips. He had offered, you got threats, I'll stay with your family if you want while you're gone. Sherry Coleman did not want Keith at the house because she said she wasn't comfortable with him. So that must mean that he murdered the whole family.
Or she saw some videos that he sends to the house.
That's it. Yep. So he's weird. They inquired about Sherry Coleman's life insurance. Keith Coleman's ex-wife sold Chris and Sherry the policy there. They asked all about that kind of shit. So Chris was the only name they said ever on their suspect list when they do that. Joyce Meyer and her son have to testify as well.
Oh, shit.
Closing arguments. They said the most critical pieces of evidence are time of death, obviously. That's the big thing. The bodies were stiff. They had rigor mortis. Everything pointed to that they were dead by 3 o'clock in the morning. They said kind of that's the whole case. They said you can use, but the defense said you can use various formulas. The time of death is not an exact science. He also said anyone that had access to his computer, whether it was a coworker or anybody else, could have created that account.
Sure, but the thing is, it doesn't make it less time. It only would make it longer that they've been dead with the rigor mortis, which puts him even more
guilty
in the house.
Sleeping next to a dead woman all night.
Right.
That's how it goes. The jurors now, talking to jurors later about this during deliberations, Gina West, who's a juror, said, I didn't want to believe that he could do that.
No, I wouldn't want to believe it.
See what I mean? Yeah. One juror said, quote, I cried myself to sleep. Absolutely unimaginable. I mean, there's just so much hate. It's just hatred spread everywhere. The first vote in the jury room was 7-5, not guilty.
Wow.
Not guilty, but it wasn't because they didn't think that he did it. One said, I mean, we all thought he did it. Who else could have done it? But they said you wanted factual, tangible evidence that he did it. And that's the CSI effect of... On CSI, they tell you, here's all the scientific evidence. You don't have that. Meanwhile, 85% of murders are made with circumstantial evidence. That's just the way it works. So this juror said, you wanted factual, tangible evidence that he did it. Make him prove it.
No.
Deliberations went into a second day. It's fucking wild. Angela, the mom, said, we will get justice for my daughter and my grandsons. I have what they call the mother instinct. I'm very confident.
You only need.
I talked to a couple of people. I know things.
Yeah, you only need his own words. He said he left at a certain time. She was clearly dead long before that. Done.
Yep.
End of story.
That's it. Perfect. Fuck. So they said, the jurors said something in black and white in front of my face that said if he could lie about this, he's lying about everything, meaning the affair.
Yeah.
He lied about the affair. So the verdict, after 15 hours of deliberation, comes back guilty. There's a huge crowd outside the courthouse that erupts and cheers and applause.
Yeah.
It's a giant, it's like OJ over here.
Yeah.
The one guy from the courthouse said I had never seen anything like what happened on the lawn of the courthouse that night. Sentencing.
Were they naked?
Sentencing comes around.
Yeah.
You, sir, may fuck off. Life in prison, Chris.
Hey, got him.
Suck on it. So Chris speaks to 48 Hours. He talks to Maureen Marr after this.
Yeah.
He talks to 48 Hours like a fucking idiot. He's not, can't be on camera, but he's on the phone. She said, did you kill your wife and children? And he said, no, absolutely not. I absolutely loved, he said absolutely twice already.
Yep.
Lying. I absolutely love my wife and kids. And this, it's not me.
What's not you? The behavior?
All of it. Killing. Jeez. She said, how do you love your wife and be having an affair with one of her best friends? He said, well, just because maybe I wasn't, selfishly getting what I thought I should be getting at home from the physical side of things, but I still absolutely loved her.
Wonder what
Tara gets dirty
so much. Yeah,
Tara's dirty. That's what it is. She'll do crazy shit, and she's got his wife's a nice girl, and that's how. That's how he's
what
looking
if it's
at.
just a blowjob and his wife doesn't do that?
Might be. It might be. Tara's like, put it in my ass, and he's like, I like to hear that. Who knows? We don't know.
That old 69 shit.
So he says that he was not going to divorce his wife to marry Tara. So Maureen Marr says, why does Tara say that? And he says, it was discussed on several different things, and, it was a conversation, but there was no specific plans or dates or nobody asking each other to be married or anything like that. Meanwhile, they had promise rings. Right. Maureen Marr says, she also said you told her that you were serving divorce papers to Sherry. Chris says, unfortunately, and I feel horrible about it, if I ever talk to Tara again, that would be something I apologize to her about. That was a lie. I lied to Tara about that.
We know.
We get it. You lied about everything. He's acting like, oh, I'll come clean. Yeah. So then they said, if you didn't murder your family, who in the God's green fucking earth did, you stupid liar?
Yeah.
He said, quote, I have absolutely no clue. Believe me, I've racked my brain for 2.5 years trying to figure that part out. I just had to stop and give it to God. Just release that and do my best to forgive that person and move on.
Oh. Give it up to the big guy.
Do my best to forgive that person and move on? You cunt fuck. Okay. He goes to prison. He has to be moved to another state because everyone in Illinois wants to murder him. Literally.
Course.
Everybody wants to kill him. He's a huge asshole. So he's brought to the Pontiac Correctional Center in Illinois at first, but then moved to Waupun in Wisconsin there.
Okay.
And he's going to be there at the Dodge Correctional Institution. 2020, he appeals it, and the judge says, get the fuck out of my courtroom before I beat you with this gavel, you asshole. New trial denied. Fuck off. And all three bodies were originally laid to rest at the Evergreen Cemetery. They were later exhumed and taken to Sherry's home family's cemetery and buried with the rest of her family so they can see them. And that, everybody, is Columbia, Illinois. And a crazy fucking story, if you've ever heard one. Disgusting. Chris Watts, part 2. Actually, part 1. He did it first.
Yeah, it's the original Chris Watts.
Chris Watts looked at this guy and said, I'm going to do it better.
I could do it.
I could do it better. You got to get him out of the house. That's the problem.
You don't understand. You got to put him in an oil rig.
That's why, because they were missing for a couple days.
Yeah.
That's why it was a big deal.
Yep.
Wife and family disappeared. The missing part that went into a murder, whereas this was just their home murdered.
They're found murdered, yeah.
If he dumped them in the woods, this would have been a giant story. Yeah. So if you like that story, or damn it, just the way we tell it, because there's no way to like the story itself.
Right.
So
it's disgusting.
Get on whatever app you're listening on, Apple Podcasts, Audible, this one, that one, and give us 5 stars and say something nice. It really does help drive us up the charts. You don't even have to say something nice. Just say gobble, gobble.
Say anything.
I'm a turkey. Do whatever you want. Do some turkey shit on there. Say you like to be served with, a little mayo and some lettuce and tomato on rye bread. We don't care. Just say whatever you want. It helps a lot.
Yeah, minus
do that. Yeah, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets to live shows September 8th and 9th. We're in Atlanta and Charlotte those 2 days. December 2nd, we're in Dallas. Those 3 have tickets left. I think there's a couple left in Philly at this point, but I don't know if they're even together or whatever. So check those out if you want them. Everything else is sold out for the rest of the year. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Your stupid opinions. The next episode, we will announce the date. It's definitely coming. Yeah. And then also we'll announce a date for when the tickets will go on sale for the Halloween virtual live show, because that's coming too, God damn it. God, I love those. Those are so much fun, and we've had a lot of demand for it, so we're going to do it here, guys. That's a lot of fun, so do that. That's all coming up on future episodes. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of your bonus material. Yeah. Anybody who, if you choose one day out of the whole month to go, cup of coffee or all of Crime and Sports and Small Town Murders Patreon. Yeah. I'm going cup of coffee. No, I'm not. I'm doing the Patreon. $5 a month. Get you all of it. I have no idea. That's what I was trying to do.
With yourself.
Yeah, I did. I said, no, I'm doing that. Do Patreon. A couple hundred back episodes to binge on of bonus stuff that's only available on Patreon, and new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder. This week is no different. What you're going to get this week, Crime and Sports. Karl Malone's gross. He fucked a 13-year-old and had a baby. Yes. Disgusting. We'll talk about him. How's he still a hero? How do people love him? Who the fuck knows? Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about 2 of the craziest murders we've ever heard of that didn't fit into the format of our show, but Christ, they're crazy, and someone's going to talk about them. So we'll get into those 2 as well. All that and more. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Plus, you get a shout out at the end of the show. Jimmie's going to mispronounce your name. That's coming up in 1 second. But first, follow us on social media. We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram and Threads, at Murder Small on Twitter, and at Small Town Pod on Facebook. That said, Jimmie, hit me with the names of the most wonderful fucking people in the world who would never, ever kill us and spray paint all over our dead bodies. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producer, Jordan Bennett, of course, who came to Chicago. Great to see you.
Good. I didn't see her, but good. It's good knowing you were there, Jordan.
Yeah. Laura and John Brace, they came to Chicago also. Kyle Norweg, he's going to come to D.C. Maria Wiedeker, and her birthday cat Tofu. Happy birthday, Tofu.
Happy birthday, Tofu.
Meredith Powers, Kristen Swoboda. Kristen, thank you. Desiree Stevens, and other producers this week. The executives, we can't do this without you guys. You guys are really tremendous people.
You're
thank you.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. Other producers this week are the Barbershop Quartet of Mitch and the Shitstains. Carl Kirshner.
Wow.
Carl Kirshner was in Minneapolis. I didn't see him, but thank you very much.
Well, thanks for coming.
Liz Vasquez came to Chicago. I didn't see her either.
Liz,
she went to a Sox game, too. That's cool. Good for her.
That's cool. Right on.
Peyton Meadows, the memory of Johnny Tapia, Captain Insano. Happy birthday, Girthy Gargamel, and Lakeen, Lockhart. I don't know. Amy Deal. Amy Deal, Janice Hill, Hardy Belcher, Douglas Chimerick, I think, Brian Matvey, and Sabrina's 2nd anniversary. Congratulations, you 2 crazy kids. Sonia and Coley? Who knows? Kelly Huth, Nikki Williams, Eric Keast, Nick Joseph, Lexi with no last name, Olahai Nanix, Jerry Bermudez, Melissa Parsons, Christopher Benefield, I think, Stephanie with no last name, Kobe with no last name, Kelly with no last name, Marcus Williams, Matt Blackmer, Cameron Smith, Rebecca Kentigos, the Mo, no last name, just the Mo, Sharon Maslanka. Kayla Gilbert, Sarah Fournier, Anna Glenn, Jessica Leisure, Jonathan Akers, Jelly Shots, Allison with no last name, John with no last name, Marcus Solomon, Jabois Yar, Gina Androdozzi, Paul with no last name, Eric Carvanelli, Carnival, Jeremy Seitz, Valerie Warner, Sarah Wern, Jules Bodine, Kristen Simons, Justin Jung, Yab Yummy, Just Me and My Murder Pants, Rachel Gerke, it's Dan Springer, Mary Townsend, Amanda Mongoluzzo, Sean Anderson. N. Davis, Erica with no last name, Brandon Schrick, Tracy with no last name, Trinity Hecadon, Crowded Crow, Isa Asgarari, Sean McCullough, Slow God, Gerard Strecker, Colleen Schlegel, Raydell Rubis, Ethan and Angel Creecraft, Abby Vernier, Ryan Tharp, Jennifer Regalado, Sarah Murphy, Emily Smith, Dustin Cole, Matthew Allen, Andrea Rigo, Heidi Posner, Debbie Sliger Rigo. I hope it's one of those. Jared with no last name.
We're trying over here.
Mads with no last name. Charlie Kuhn, Kristen Marie Benzik, Veron, Angie Nugent, Chris with no last name. Keegan.
I said Christ like it was. That's. Oh, Jesus gave us money. Good. Okay.
Keegan Pratt. James Swindler, Sylvia Mace, Messi maybe, Matthew Dumas, Jeff Edwards, Allie Downs, Tabitha Hall, Mike TV, probably not. That's a pretty good one, though, from, what was that? Charlie Chalk Factory. Keith Bates, Dustin Taquato, Ruben Villarreal, Desiree Bovet, Chris Leitke, Jay Margolin. Cooper Frazier, Vanessa Stanley, Donna Bliss, David Kolatinsky, Damon Wilson, Joselle Yabich, Kokinda, Donnie nice. Kennedy, Kenneth Riggs, not okay. Zach Pollock, Josh Martin,
Zach the Pollock. Hey Zach. You Pollock bastard, thanks a lot for your donation. We're very happy. Thank you.
Cynthia Colliner, Rachel Lewis, Hugh Mongo Johnson, Zach Zielinski, Jen Nigro, probably Nigro. God damn it. Donovan and Miranda Garcia, Bernice Merguia, Carly with no last name, Kelly Ferguson, Antoine Howell, yep, that's what it says. Jennifer Cox, god damn it, Keith Sibley, Jay Vallada, Carol Shook, Call for a Good Time, Ben Miller, Darwin with no last name, Jolynn Wilkerson, Ava Z-Man, don't spit.
I tried to take a drink and you said semen. What the fuck? Oh, God, you're killing me.
Isabel T. Logan Mylan, Amy Hudson, Lori Matthews, Tyler Fletcher, Tim Law, or L.A., Cisco Frost, Emily Blake, Emily G., Aaron Hughes, Ellen Featherston. Damn it, I was going. Travis Gorham, Patricia Smith, Miko Pohl, Kendrick Sprouse, Dennis Kelly, Sean Barkley, Katie Zumbro, Ben in New Mexico, you poor bastard, Lindsay Olson, Spud Nick, Zach Eldridge, Black RKO. That feels terrible to say out loud. Joshua Personette, Mario Harrison, Jay with no last name, Linda Weiss, Jeffrey Healy, Jennifer with no last name, Dylan McNeil, Sarah Dale, Desiree Stevens, Lisa Spence, Monique Corbett, Lindsay Gonzalez, Mary Carnegie, Nancy Papon, Deborah Janik maybe, Tiffany Evans, Camila Vieira, Elizabeth Bays maybe, Mark Williams, Elizabeth Armbrust, Ashley Hillis, god damn it, Tim Dock, Jamie Villa Rivera, Jamie Bronneberg,
Bronnenberg, Megan Eulery, Todd Perkins, Diane McCallumur,
All
right. Canada Lejeune, like fucking the camp. Cian Matthews, Britton Pruitt, Suzanne
French Matthews.
Suzanne Shallow, Adrian Tuback, Heather Singer, Michelle Wilson, Spaz Legs Bebach, Hannah with no last name, Jawu Ku, Jennifer Kaiser, Jason Michael, Alexandra S, Katie Grander, Ashler with no last name, Luke Cameron, Ryan Anderson, Lucas Hansen, Dan Keller, Robin Williams, Robin Wilson, Flash and Charlie Sunshine, Tina Comer. It's probably Comer.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Dory Myers,
well
Sylvia
week,
Nelson. Sylvia Oliveris, Lizzie Nelson, Madeline Birch, Jeremy Horvath, Nicole with no last name, Cameron Harveler, Abby Smith, Lainey Brown, Nikki McNeil, Sandy Spence, Fabian Schwartz, Tom with no last name, Jamie Connor, Paul Warren, Lisa Maglio, ODS, Squirrely Boots, Brad Prouty, Dwan with no last name, Derek Durant, Caitlin Reedy, Wade Woodward, Katie Haug, Ramalia Guzman, Schneelawego Barnes, Elizabeth Pyle, Aisha Tayatamante, Florence Keurig, Haley Keeler, TJ with no last name, Sal Helps, Leslie with no last name, Christy G, Dylan Alec, Patrick Waithall, Jebediah Bililu Kimsey, John with no last name, Kaylee Alec, Sarah Fisher, Ran, Rager, John.
You remember in a cartoon when a cartoon would run off a cliff, but then they'd run for a while in the air before they realized they were up there as well. Your legs have been moving for a while now. It's awesome.
John Mayle, maybe Molly. Casey Gooding. Evan Sunday. Maury, nope, that's Corey. Corey Murphy. Jessica Sykes, Dallas, Runastrand, and all of our patrons. You guys are amazing.
Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate the shit out of this. Thank you for what you do for us.
You're amazing.
You're the best. You're the fucking best. Thank you so much. Yeah. And we appreciate all of your turkeys, and all of your turkeyness and all of your gobbles and everything like that. And if you want to follow us on social media, real easy to do. Just find, go out there and find shutupandgivememurder.com. There's links and do all that shit. And that said, until next week, you turkeys. We will see you next week. Go ahead.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.